Good afternoon all. Lights fine here. Nitesh? Lights for them. I think some in the mid. Okay, so any doubts in whatever we discussed till yesterday?
Sir, why is Indian form of secularism criticized as Sarva Dharma?
Not criticized. It is not criticized as. It is based on the principle of Sarva Dharma Samanvaya, which is a very old one. For example, but that kind of Sarva Dharma Samanvaya was told actually because remember that we keep calling that Hinduism is broadly a kind of a culture actually, not by the definition of what the Western have, that kind of a one. So obviously within Hinduism we all know that there are too many types. You know the Vaishnavism is there, Shaivism is there. So whatever you keep on naming, there are so many things. Hence that each one was called as kind of Dharma. So Sarva Dharma Samanvaya, all kind of religion should be given, not exactly religion actually, Dharma means for us, it's a kind of belief system, faith, that kind of a one should be given equal respect was the idea. Not criticism, that is, it is actually positive based on the principle of.
So actually we wrote it under the criticism for Indian secularism.
No, I would have told it as after criticism, but the point is I might not have mentioned, so probably would have included. Please don't write under criticism then. It's not criticism. Maybe I should have clarified at that point. Maybe as a conclusion at the end I would have written. I think it's a huge 2-3 sentences all combined. So it's not a criticism, it's a conclusion, broad statement I had given. Please don't take it as criticism, or maybe that's the confusion. So tell me the overall, what all have you written in that para 2-3 sentences?
So before that, the third point was it is criticized that Indian model is
Lead to a kind of vote bank politics. Then total?
Then Indian secularism based on Sarva
Samanvaya. Continue.
It was not mentioned in the original constitution because Indian secularism differs from the principle. Hence it was only implicit in the original constitution.
That's it. Fine. So please don't take it as a criticism and come out of criticism. It's a normal overall point, observation kind of a one. Don't write it as criticism. I should have clarified, but it's fine. Clear,
Is there any provision in constitution to promote Hindi language?
Yes, there is a provision to promote Hindi language. 350 I think.
But why only Hindi?
Why only Hindi? Because in the Constituent Assembly, obviously, normally if you have observed across the world, you need one or other common language so that it acts as a kind of unifying factor. If everybody has ultimately people, nation means what? Nation means people. So people obviously have to mingle with each other. Then how do you mingle with each other? You have to talk to each other. For you to talk, what do you need? You need one other common medium. So at that moment they felt that let Hindi emerge as that common medium. Even if you look at the exact wordings of the constitution, it says promote Hindi language so that it becomes the overall wording is it becomes a common medium of communication, common spread that one. That's the intention, that's why it was mentioned. But remember, it is not even mentioned in part 4. That means it is not first of all, even if you mention in part 4, it is not justiciable, DPSP may. It is mentioned outside. So it is not mandatory for the government of India to spread it. They'll take measures, it's not bound. Fine, yeah. Clear, any other doubts? Whatever we have done, federalism to what? What is the next one we did? Preamble one and then
So the theory of justice by John Rawls, the equality principle as you said was the wheel of ignorance. And at the same time it was said that we try to create a society based on equality.
correct, obviously.
But if this is a wheel of ignorance, why would we even try to create an equality? It should be like the society is already equal.
No, the point is veil of ignorance in the sense, let us say, it is an hypothetical situation. What he says is, to identify what kind of principle should be the base of society, what he says, let us imagine you don't know what kind of society you will be born into. What kind of society you want to create?
So equal society.
That's what he is saying. That's it. Theory, veil of ignorance means imagine hypothetically you don't know where you will be born into. What kind of society you want? Because nobody wants to take a chance, right? You never know where you will be born. Did we decide? Nobody decides. That is called as veil of ignorance in the sense here. Don't take it as ignorance means negative. Ignorance means take it as when you are not aware. That is the point. And of course, there is a huge in-depth criticism of it that we study in optional. Here it's not necessary. Basic broad idea, because it's there in NCERT, I have tried to give you a broader perspective. Clear? Fine? Okay, so put the heading Union and its territories, part 1 of the Constitution, chapter 1, article 1 to 4. Fine? Under that, first one, article 1 of the Constitution says that Article 1 of the Constitution says that India, that is Bharat. In fact, earlier they had used the term, as I have already told, it was only mentioned it was only written in English, then they translated to Hindi, and only India word was mentioned. Then because a lot of people opposed it, they added the word Bharat also. Says that India, that is Bharat, India, that is Bharat, is a union of states. Union of states, we have already mentioned it. Put that in single inverted or underline that phrase. India, that is Bharat, is or shall be a union of states. Fine. Again, this is also mentioned in Constitution, clarify. It includes two components. That also we know, we have already discussed in Federalism chapter. It includes two components. It includes two components. First one, what is the first component of that? Yeah, India is not formed as a result of treaty or agreement. Because if treaty word comes, then you should mention the word which one? Federation. Remember, feeders word that itself is called as treaty. India is not formed as a result of treaty or agreement between the states. Treaty or agreement between the states. 2. No state has the right to secede from the union. No state has, this we have already discussed, we don't have to discuss again. No state has the right to secede. Secede means what? S-E-C-D-E? Yeah. Get out, disassociate, disintegrate. No state has the right to secede from the union. Clear? So that is your article 1. India, that is Bharat, is a union of states. There is no major explanation because anyhow we have already discussed it. It is related in a way to your federalism. Why India? We already discussed that the word term federation is not mentioned. It is only called as union for so and so reasons. We followed which country? This kind of a one is inspired from Canada. All those things we have already done. Fine? Rakesh. Thank you. Then below that, two terms you have. Clarify this. You can make a kind of two columns also. Union of India, Territory of India. Union of India, Territory of India. Fine. What is the difference then? Union of India, under that you write A, states. That means only states. Under Union of India, states. Under Territory of India, states. A is states. B, Union territories. Union territories. C, acquired territories. States, Union territories, acquired territories. Acquired territories. States, union territories, acquired territories. So automatically, which concept is a broader concept then? Yeah, so always keep that in mind. Territory of India, sir, why do you have to know? Because when we come to fundamental rights, we'll keep using this term multiple times. That we keep saying that freedom of movement, we tell Indian citizens have the freedom of movement throughout the territory of India. Now when you say territory of India, that means you can move freely through the states. That means one state to another state you can go. For example, Delhi itself is a UT. If you belong to UP, you can come to Delhi. Then you can go to Chandigarh. So anything is allowed. That's what you call it as freedom of movement throughout territory of India. If in case they had not mentioned the word territory and they had mentioned union, then you can't enter union UT so easily then. Getting the point? Then you can't come from you. That all is for fundamental rights chapter. We'll discuss later. Huh?
Sir, can authority deny ILPs for Indian citizens?
Yes, of course. Obviously they can deny. If in case, for example, like let's say, if there is any criminal cases pending against you related to this, that, they can anytime deny. बहुत सारे rules होता है, it's not so easy. So they'll have a lot of rules. What we understand is broadly the concept. Where did it emerge? What is the major concept? When you go in depth, what will happen? So many conditions they'll put. That under that there are any way chance. Always understand the basic point. If they can give you a permit, they can also deny you the permit. That's the point. Fine. If they can make a law, they can also remove that law, repeal a law also. It's always the same. Fine. Yeah. So territory of India is a very broader one. Now look at it. States may obviously, we anyhow have discussed federalism in detail. So more or less you have an idea. Union territory, there is a separate chapter, we'll again discuss it. Third is what you have written is called as acquired territory. Look at the word acquire. Acquire ka matlab kya hota hai then? Acquire means what? Take it from someone. For example, there are different modes. You can understand the mode itself. Let's say there is a mode called as cession. Cession means cession means the same. Cede, it's a seed word. So these are all internationally different modes of acquisition. For example, very simple. Let's say talk about Goa. So Goa, when India became independent, not now, today it's a part of India, that's a different issue, leave it. Geographically also it has been part of India, those are all fine. But we all know that at least basic point that Portuguese had occupied it and all those things. From even after independence, Goa was not part of India. Goa was not mentioned in the original constitution. 1950 constitution mein Goa was never mentioned. Because till 1961 December, it was under whose control? Portuguese control. 1961 December, the Indian army entered Goa region and hence the Portuguese vacated. That territory became part of India. Got it? So India, what they did? India acquired. It is in a way actually conquer. So conquer means what? There is already some ruler, some system, somebody there. You go there, snatch it, you conquer it, invade it. That is called as conquer. That is one mode. Got it? So Goa falls here actually. You went and conquered it. Goa, Daman, Diu. But you look at Puducherry. Puducherry also you know, Pondicherry was ruled by whom? French. French was controlling that. So French, they did not war, nothing happened. They signed a kind of agreement and said, okay fine, we'll vacate, we understand geographically all those things are far. So they gave it up to us in 1954. So that means they did not conquer, we did not go the army anything. What is it? They said, okay fine, we'll give it up. So that is agreement. But Sikkim, now today Sikkim also is part of India, we'll read all those things. Sikkim was ruled by a separate dynasty called as Chogyal dynasty. Names like how we have Mughals, what do you call as this, Vijayanagara, Cholas, like that many dynasties, you know, what do you call this, Mauryas, like that you have Magadhas, so many you have. Like that there was a dynasty called as Chogyal dynasty. That dynasty used to rule. Till which year? 1976 to be precise. Sorry, 1975. So till 1975 it was ruled by Chogyal dynasty, means it was not part of India. So then what we did? Then they conducted a, where? The people of Sikkim demanded that no, we don't want kings, because they'll be looking at that India has become a democracy. It's 1975 ka matlab itna 25 years constitution, all those things they would have felt. We also want to join India. We don't want to be under a king because we also want a democracy. Then they conducted a plebiscite there. You already know what you mean by plebiscite. And people of Sikkim said, we want to, the option is same. You want the king, you want to join India. And people of Sikkim said, we want to join India. So that means Sikkim became part of India through what? Plebiscite. Got it? So like that. Then what do you mean by occupation, sir? Occupation means what? You go and occupy an area where there is no ruler at all. It's like all of a sudden, for example, there is an area called as, we'll discuss all these things in this chapter itself. There is an area called as New Moor Island. Fine, in Bay of Bengal. Sundarbans you might have heard, the West Bengal one, all those things. So what happened, because of this deposition of silt, all of a sudden new island came up. Because silt you know, right, the rivers will carry a lot of this sand and everything that will carry. Over a period of time, centuries, maybe whatever it is, a small island emerged. Now what is earlier, how will you mention that this island belongs to me, when there is no island itself? Island in it, obviously. So the new island emerged, then the issue started again. Bangladesh said it belongs to me because it is close to me. India also says it is also close to me. If it is close to Bangladesh, it is close to us also then. So, and there is a concept called as exclusive economic zone, WhatsApp, that you will get to know. Maybe in geography they might have told you also 200 nautical miles, all those things. So it was between us both. Hence, both started to fight. So India also wanted to acquire, Bangladesh also wanted to acquire. Then the issue went to international court. Finally, actually 80% of the land, or probably 75% of the land at least, is given to Bangladesh. India has got only 25% of the land, but the central part of the land is India. Major part of the land is Bangladesh. So because it's a new island. So all of those things are kind of occupation. Because there was nobody there, you went and occupied it there. Got it? So that is the idea called as occupation. Whatever, the basic point is, what do you mean by acquired territory then? You go and occupy, or you get an area which is not part of your country. That's it. Today it is not part, tomorrow you get it. Whatever. For example, there is a kind of concept, if you have heard, called as Akhand Bharat. Akhand Bharat means what? It's a huge one. Remember, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, Bangladesh, everything you have to add. So the concept, then if you want to make that into part of India, what do you have to do then? One or other modes, either plebiscite, either agreement, either whatever it is, go and acquire. So can it happen? Please don't ask me all those things. We are in a completely different era. It's not an era of kings where you go, oh, those are all gone. It's all gone. But whatever, it's always there is a kind of concept going on. Basic point is you have to acquire them. That is the idea. Now let us say you went and acquired. Now you want to integrate into India, right? That is a process. That's why you have acquired. To integrate them, there is another article, that is what is your Article 2. So Article 2 of the Constitution is simple words, is about integrate a territory which is not part of India into India. Got it? As of now it is not part. You have to make it into part. You make it as UT or you make it as state. Kuch bhi banao, it's fine. Whatever. For example, Goa, under Article 2, it was made as a UT first. 1962 to 1987, it was a UT. Then after that what we did? We made Goa as a state. Sikkim under Article 2 was directly made a state. Directly. Now no UT, nothing, directly state. Goa, this Puducherry, even now it is UT. Daman Diu, Dadra Nagar Haveli, even now it is UT. So whatever, that's left to the parliament to decide, but that is your Article 2. Which says that, we'll write that. Basically Article 2 got it, whatever you have studied under acquired territories, make them into India is your Article 2. So then what is Article 3? Article 3 is your, for example, remember we obviously you know, everybody knows. Sir, Lakshadweep Island. Fine. What is it telling? Article 3. Let's say for example for UP, we all know that there is a demand to what? Divide UP into 4. Remember the Bundelkhand, I told you multiple times, Purvanchal, Paschim Pradesh, all those things. How do you do it? That is your Article 3. So Article 2 is simple words, get it into India. Once you make them into India, you make any changes. For example, if you have heard, there is a demand to make Delhi from UT into what? State. How do you do it? Article 3. Fine. Let's say Vidarbha, you want to, there is a demand to break Vidarbha, I mean Maharashtra into two, make Vidarbha into a state. Article 3. There is a demand by people, not very strong demand, but remember Sonam Wangchuk was doing all those things. Article 3. Fine. Jammu Kashmir, earlier what was it? State. Now what is it? UT. Then again you have divided it. Jammu Kashmir UT plus how? Article 3. So if you want to make a UT into a state, state into a UT, break a state, Daman Diu, Dadra Nagar Haveli were originally two separate UT. As of now, what is it? Both are merged into single union territory. It is not called as Daman Diu separately, Dadra Nagar Haveli separately. It is called as Daman Diu and Dadra Nagar Haveli, single UT. How is it? Article 3. Got an idea? What do you mean by that? Yeah, that's the point. For example, now I'll just overall sum up, you'll get an idea. Let's say earlier it was called as Uttarakhand, Uttaranchal. Now what do you call it as? Uttarakhand. How do you do it? Article 3. Now there is a demand by TMC, that is Mamata Banerjee, that they want to rename West Bengal into what? Bangla, there are so many demands going on. Article 3. So renaming the state, remember not state capital. For example, Calcutta was renamed as what? Now it is not called as Calcutta. Kolkata, Bombay, Mumbai, Madras, Chennai, Bangalore, Bengaluru. Those are all not Article 3. Article 3 is only about rename the state. Rename state, not the state capital. Allahabad renamed. Prayagraj, not Article 3. So then who will do that? That is done by the state governments. So Yogi Adityanath will only directly take the call. Whatever he wants to name, Kalyan Nagar, Gayatri Nagar, whatever it is, everything it is left to him to take the call. State governments, Parliament has got nothing to do with it. Constitution has got nothing to do with it. Sir, let's say they want to create more districts in our states, sir. States. Parliament, Article 3, absolutely no connection. Got an idea? What do you mean by this? There is a procedure under it that we'll write. As of now, did you get a broad idea? What do you mean by that? Yeah, please write this then. First, let's write this. A territory can be acquired by various means. A territory can be acquired by various means. And then write first one, cession. That means someone is giving up voluntarily. And write the modes. Cession, like lease, plebiscite. Remember I told you the Alaska story, I might have told you. Like Alaska is part of US. So how did US get Alaska?
From Russia.
Russia, lease, like that. That's also a kind of cession. So lease, plebiscite or agreement, treaty agreement, whatever you call them as.
So can Junagadh be considered as an example of this?
Yes, but that happened before constitution. Junagadh ka kab hua? It was in 1948, 49. I think 49 probably. Year exactly, month you have to classify. But basically before constitution came into force. But you are talking about Article 2. Matlab kahan hai? Constitution mein. So when did constitution came into force? Yeah, you have to talk after that what all happened. Fine. Yeah, so lease, plebiscite, agreement. Then just copy this. Conquest. Then 3, occupation. These are all international modes of acquisition. Cession. Conquest, occupation. Don't write the examples, we'll get confused. Enclave. Anyhow, these examples will again come back. We'll write all of them. Clear? Now put the heading Article 2. Article 2. Parliament can make a law. Look at the word parliament. That means states have no power. Underline the word parliament. Parliament can make a law. Parliament can make a law. Parliament can make a law to establish a new state. Here, don't get confused with state. This is not the term like Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra state. Political entity state. Parliament has the power to establish a new state or admit into Union of India a new existing state. Power to establish a new state or admit into Union of India an existing state. Admit into Union of India an existing state. So the wordings here are confusing because you may get confused with the word state. That's why clarify what does that mean. It means, so only when you study only this. Because Supreme Court have looked into all those things and clarity has been given. It means Article 2 deals with merging of, that is integrating of. Article 2 deals with integrating or integration of a territory, which is not part of India into India. Integration of a territory which is not part of India into India. Which is not part of India into India. Which is not part of India into India. Fine, that is Article 2. For example, all of them just combine. Goa, Daman Diu. For example, Goa, Daman and Diu, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, you can just write DD, DNH also. Goa, Daman and Diu, Dadra, Nagar Haveli, Puducherry, at that time it was called as Pondicherry, Puducherry, Sikkim were integrated into India under Article 2. Puducherry and Sikkim were integrated into India. They were integrated into India under Article 2. Clear? So next time be clear, because a lot of people get confused even in what is the state and all those things. That's I have clarified. Then Article 3. Parliament, again look at the word parliament. Parliament has the power. Parliament, underline the word parliament again. Parliament has the power to reorganize. Article 3, Parliament has the power to reorganize the existing parts of India. To reorganize the existing parts of India. Reorganize the existing parts of India. That means once you become part of India, you deal them with under Article 3. Fine, what does it include? It includes, what do you mean by that reorganization? It includes A. It includes A, increase or decrease or change, alter. Increase or decrease or alter the boundaries of states. Alter the boundaries of the states. Fine. Then next one, B. Merge or divide. Merge or divide a state. Merge or divide a state or union territory. So you do anything. Create a new state by merging this, that, anything. Then C. Change the name of the state, only state, not the state capital or anything. change the name of the state. Change the name of the state. Clear? And then this also obviously has gone to Supreme Court with lot of clarifications needed, and hence it has been clarified right there. Article 3 also deals with any changes related to UTs and ATs. Article 3 also deals with any changes related to UT and AT. That means once you become part of Territory of India, it's done. Article 3. Any changes related to UT as well as AT, Union Territory as well as Acquired Territory. Clear? Fine. Then put the subheading under that itself, procedure to make a law under Article 3. Procedure to make a law under Article 3. Procedure to make a law under Article 3. So keep writing the points. So how do you pass a law under Article 3? Fine. First one, point number 1. President has to give the prior recommendation. President has to give the prior recommendation. President has to give a prior recommendation for a bill to be passed. President has to give prior recommendation for a bill to be passed. For a bill to be introduced, not passed, President has to give prior recommendation for a bill to be introduced in Parliament. For a bill to be introduced in Parliament. Point number 1. Point number 2. Before introducing in the Parliament, or before recommending the introduction, anything you can write. Before introducing in the Parliament, President should forward the bill, should send the bill. Before introducing in the Parliament, President should send the bill to the concerned state legislature. President should send the bill to concerned state legislature. President should send the bill to the concerned state legislature. Clear? So we'll discuss that. What do you mean by that? Then, okay, or you can continue in the same point itself. To the send the bill to the concerned state legislature, who should give the opinion within. Continue the same point. Who should give the opinion within specified time frame. Means President will tell you, give your opinion within 1 month, give your opinion within 2 months, kuch bhi. Who should give its opinion within specific or specified time frame or period, whatever. Give its opinion within specified time period. Clear? 3. Next one. The opinion of the state legislature is not binding on the Parliament or President. The opinion of state legislature is not binding on the President or Parliament. Opinion of the state legislature is not binding on the President or Parliament. Fine? Then next one. Both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha should pass the bill. Both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha should pass the bill with simple majority. We already discussed what do you mean by simple, all those things. We have discussed, right?
Yes.
Okay. Both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha should pass the bill with simple majority. So underline that simple majority. Then, any changes made by Parliament means amendments, whatever. Any changes introduced by Parliament. Any changes made by Parliament need not be referred back. Any changes made by Parliament. Any changes made by the Parliament need not be referred back to the state legislature. Need not be referred back to the state legislature. Fine, we'll discuss that. Let's write the last point. Then, if it is related to UT, if it is related to UT, if it is related to UT, it is not even necessary to take their opinion. Maybe if you have a legislature, it's a different issue. In general, UT. If it is a UT, it is not even necessary to take its opinion. It is not necessary to take its opinion. So now reread it once again, procedure, you will get an idea what we are trying to say. Clear? So what are the points? So first point is what? President, before introducing the bill in the Parliament, President should give the recommendation. Okay, fine, go ahead with this bill. But even before that, what should the President have done? President should first forward it to whom? Let's say, for example, just a hypothetical example you take. Either you take UP to be divided or Maharashtra to be divided. Let's say UP you want to divide, Parliament wants to divide. So today if President wants to introduce that bill, Uttar Pradesh Reorganization Bill 2023, if they want to reintroduce in the Parliament, before that what should the President do? Forward it to the concerned, means Uttar Pradesh State Legislature. They will discuss it. And President will tell them, give your opinion, means to whom? Uttar Pradesh, give your opinion within 2 months, 1 month. That's why we have written the word specified time period. We have not mentioned 1 month or 2 months. That who will mention? That the President will tell, give it within 2 months, give it within 3 months. Clear? So then within whatever the time frame, UP Assembly may give it, may not give it, may accept it, may reject it. Absolutely, it doesn't matter. That's why look at the next point what you have written. Whatever the opinion of the state legislature, what is it? Nowhere it is binding. Sir, then why are you asking their opinion? It is just a formality to inform them. Ultimately, it is whose call? President's call, Parliament's call. Then let's say you got it and then now you introduce it in Parliament. Now let's say Parliament changes, a lot of things they change. So this changes, was it seen by Uttar Pradesh then? Let's say for example, in that bill, you have, when it was forwarded to Uttar Pradesh, there were 10 points. Fine, there were 10 points. Now in the Parliament when they are discussing, they have added another 5 points extra. Now you have total 15 points. Did the Uttar Pradesh Assembly see this point number 11 to 15? How can it see? First of all, it is not there to see. Now should you send this point 5 points again to UP and ask them, okay, are you fine with it? There is nothing like that. You keep going ahead, that's it. You means Parliament will keep going ahead, they'll pass it. But who has to pass it? Both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Which majority? Simple majority. So done, state is divided. Sir, what if the people of UP or Maharashtra don't agree? Procedurally speaking, it doesn't matter. Sir, what if for example you take Andhra Pradesh State Reorganization Bill 2014? Actually Andhra Pradesh Assembly passed a resolution rejecting the bill. They said we don't want Telangana. But then what did the Parliament do? Parliament created Telangana, it's done. So you don't agree, you agree, it doesn't matter at all. Sir, will they go ahead just like that? It's not so easy because politics matter. I'm telling you, according to the constitution, Parliament has the power. Clear? So that's a very famous point. This is we are talking about states. Then what about UTs then? It doesn't. You think logically, if for states itself it doesn't matter. UT ko kya The name itself says union territory, means it is under control of whom? Union government. So absolutely nothing. Clear? At least for Delhi what will happen, because Delhi has what? Legislature, same procedure will be followed. They will forward it to Delhi Assembly to take their opinion. इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि whatever Delhi Assembly says is binding, formality. So if Parliament decides we'll break Delhi into two, break, or we'll make Delhi into state, do it. So nobody will have a power, Parliament will have that power. Got it? So that's why it is famously called as, India is famously called as, look at the wording itself. Yeah, you might have heard this. If you look at the wording itself, you will understand. Look at the wording, indestructible union of destructible states. So destructible means what? Break it. But USC is called as is what? I mean, again, you can take the call. Indestructible union of indestructible states. So that means in simple words, in US, let's say for example in US California is a state. Let's say US Congress, means US Parliament wants to break California into two. You cannot do it until who agrees? California legislature agrees. You can't divide it. In India, it doesn't matter. Got an idea? Yeah, so please write this statement then. Hence India is called as, copy this. Huh?
So what happens when a state is under president's rule?
President's rule, it doesn't even matter then. There is no state assembly then. Directly. But they will not do it if they want to divide it, they will not do it under president's rule. They will wait. Let the assembly come, then you do it. Jammu and Kashmir is a completely different process. I will explain that process. It was a big game played. I'll tell you how the game was played. I mean procedurally, whatever they did is good or bad, that's a different issue. How the game happened is different issue. I'll explain that. First you write this. Hence India is called as indestructible union of destructible states. So underline the entire phrase. I mean, Constitution doesn't mention it, famously it is called so.
What are the issues with giving statehood to Delhi?
We'll discuss. That also I'll tell. Actually that I will normally tell it in under UT chapter, because I know obviously because you are in Delhi you will have that more of a doubt. We'll discuss that. Both Kashmir and Delhi I'll tell you. First let's finish this. Indestructible union of destructible states. Hence you can write that word statement also. Hence Parliament has the power to unilaterally decide Hence Parliament has the power to unilaterally means you understand, right? On its own. To unilaterally decide the territorial boundaries of India. Of India in the sense of states. Has the power to unilaterally decide the boundaries or the territorial boundaries of these states. Territorial boundaries of the states. Then write another statement. However, in US, the boundaries of states cannot be changed. However, in US, the boundaries of states cannot be changed unless who agree? Yeah, unless the state legislatures agree to it. However, in US, the boundaries of states cannot be changed unless the state legislature agrees to it. The state legislature agrees to it. Hence, it is called as, and write this. Hence, it is called as indestructible union of indestructible states. Indestructible union of indestructible states. Fine. Again, now the West Bengal one you can write below. Recently, West Bengal Assembly passed a resolution. Recently, West Bengal Assembly. Recently, in the sense, 2-3 times I think 2 times they have passed. Before COVID ones, after COVID ones. So recently, West Bengal Assembly passed a resolution to rename their state. To rename their state. Fine. Now what will happen? Now whatever they have passed, of course, is it binding on the parliament? Just because West Bengal has passed it, will the parliament change it? No, then what will happen then? Next point. Chronology you write. This is a chronology I am telling. Now what can happen? 2. It will be forwarded to Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India. Means from Mamata Banerjee it will come to Amit Shah. It will be forwarded to Ministry of Home Affairs, Union Home Ministry. It will be forwarded to Ministry of Home Affairs. Just write MHA, it's fine. MHA GOI. It will be forwarded to MHA, Government of India. Sir, why Home Ministry? Everything is a reason. Because it's an internal matter. Any internal matter will go to Home Ministry automatically. Then 2. MHA will consult, that is take the opinion of. MHA will consult Defence Ministry, External Affairs Ministry, Railways, everybody they will consult that is it fine if we rename the state and everything. MHA will consult Ministry of Defence, Railways, External Affairs, IB, etc. So many opinions they will take, because let's say you rename the state, imagine how many records everywhere, what all you have to change. That's why they will consult everybody's opinion. This is a procedure. Then next again, MHA will take the final decision and forward it to the cabinet. Take it as Council of Minister. MHA will take final decision. So if it rejects, it's gone there. If they want to, that's left to them. MHA will take the final decision and forward it to the COM, Council of Minister. Council of Minister. Just if you want, you can put an arrow mark and write. From COM, it may go to whom? I mean, if you want to forward it, it will go to whom? President. So MHA to COM, COM to President, President to Parliament. MHA to COM, COM to President, President to Parliament. This is if you want to forward. If at any stage if they don't want to forward, it's gone. It stops there. Got it? That's the point. So whatever West Bengal passes has absolutely no impact on MHA or Cabinet or Parliament or President. Ultimate decision is them. Clear? So this is the basic point. Again, so clarify in the margin. Renaming, this is all because I keep getting these notes multiple times, that's why I clarify once for all everything. Renaming of the state capitals, renaming of state capitals, state capital city, renaming of the state capitals or any city or creating more districts is left to whom? State. Yeah, is on the or is whatever is left to the state governments. Is left to the state governments. Of course, procedurally sometimes they may ask, but that's a different issue. Let's say, for example, you want to rename Allahabad into Prayagraj. Now what will happen? You will have Allahabad railway station also. Obviously it will be a very big one. Allahabad is a historical city, all those things. Now what will happen? You have to consult railways also then. So even though Uttar Pradesh government has ultimate power, what they once have to do? Procedurally they should also consult railways. Seeing, because when you rename the city, you will rename station also. That means railways is getting affected. You should ask them procedurally. Yeah, railways. But ultimate decision is whom? Take it as state government. That's it. That is another clarification. Clear? Understood? Article 3, a very, very important one. If you want some bills, if you want, you rename it. I mean, write that. Recent changes. In 2014, Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Bill. These are examples so that you understand the main, practically how it happens. In 2014, Andhra Pradesh State Reorganization Bill in 2014, Andhra Pradesh State Reorganization Bill divided it into or created Telangana. Any words you can write. 2014, Andhra Pradesh State Reorganization Bill created Telangana or divided into Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. Created Telangana. That is one. Then in 2019, Jammu Kashmir Reorganization Bill. In 2019, Jammu Kashmir Reorganization Bill, first what it did? Made JK into a UT. First you should make it into UT. Jammu Kashmir Reorganization Bill made it into a UT first. Made it into UT. Then what they did? Yeah, it was split. Then it was split into two UTs. That you know, just write the names. First it was made into a UT and then split into JK and Ladakh. And then split into Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh. Clear? In 2020, DD and DNH was merged into single UT. Fine. These are the three major changes which has happened under Article 3, that's why I just mentioned them. 2020, DD and DNH, Dadavandiyur, Dadra Nagar Haveli merged into single UT. Merged into single UT. All of them same. Clear? States, I think that I have already told you, West Bengal one. Okay, this is broadly Article 3. Now any doubts are related to Article 3, please ask.
Exchange between the enclaves and exclaves.
That we'll discuss. That's separate. That is under one clarification needed. That is about, does the government has the power to cede an Indian territory to another? That we'll discuss. That you leave it. Are they related to states? Article 3. More or less, I think I have tried to clarify everything. West Bengal, UP, everything. Done? Okay. Now, Article 4. Article 4. It says that laws passed under Article 2 and Article 3 it says that the laws passed under Article 2 and Article 3 will not be considered as the laws passed under Article 2 and Article 3 will not be considered as amendments to the Constitution. Will not be considered as amendments to the Constitution under Article 368. Wherever you get under article, just write U/A. Will not be considered as amendments to the Constitution under Article 368. Hence, it will be passed by, or it should be passed by, hence it will be passed by simple majority. Hence, it will be passed by simple majority. Hence, it will be passed by simple majority. That's what is your article. That's why look at it. We mentioned just above this we have mentioned the bills. We call it as Jammu Kashmir Reorganization Bill. We call it as Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Bill. Did we mention 100th Constitutional Amendment, 99th, 102nd, 103rd? Did we mention anything? We did not mention. That means, basically assume, let's say yesterday we wrote Schedule 1 consists of what? What does Schedule 1 consist of? Names of the states, names of the UT. Logically you think, earlier Jammu Kashmir was mentioned, will be mentioned in state list or UT list. It will be like this. If you open Schedule 1, please, if you have app, you please open. So that practically you understand how does it happen. You will find the names of the states. It will go a list, whatever, something. Then you will have the names of UTs. Then it will go, so many lists will be there. Fine. So obviously Jammu Kashmir will be originally mentioned where? Let's say it is here. Fine. Schedule 1 means constitution. Ultimately it is also constitution. Now When you make it into UT, you have to delete it here because this is which list? State list. Then where will you mention then? Here, whatever the number, or alphabetically they will do it. I am just using it. Don't take me the exact number and tell, so no sir, it is 5 numbers or 6 numbers sir. Let's say you make it here. Then you will mention it here. That means are you not adding and deleting something in constitution then? Yes. Of course yes. That means what? You are actually making a change in the constitution. Samajh mein? Like very simple. Jammu Kashmir was here. Erase it. Put it here because it is now UT. Ladakh, the name itself was not there, but Ladakh is now a UT. Ladakh separately you mentioned. That means you are actually making changes in first schedule. But according to the constitution, it will not be considered as amendments under 368 because it is not done under 368. This power you get it under Article 2, Article 3. This procedure is not mentioned under 368. Matlab when you look at 368, there is a procedure there. You amend so and so features, everything. This is not mentioned under 368, 2 and 3. Hence, it will not be considered as amendments under 368. Yes, you are making changes in constitution. We are not saying no, look at it. But simple majority, no major majority is nothing. And you don't give the numbers also. Number ka matlab 99th, 102nd, 103rd, numbers will not be given. In simple words, when you see a number, 42nd Amendment 1976 we mentioned, right? When you, mini constitution, when you find that number, take it, it is an amendment made under which article? 368. Procedure is mentioned there. When you don't find numbers, understand it is made under Article 4 or some other articles outside 368. Got an idea? So that's the point. So next time when they want to break Maharashtra into two, it will just be called as Maharashtra State Reorganization Bill. Will it be named as 107th, 106th? No. Clear? If Delhi wants to be made into state, whatever, Delhi so and so bill. No 107, no 108, no nothing number. So simple words, this is the logic you should use because it's the beginning I am clarifying all these things. When you find a number attached, take it as it is related to 368. If you don't find a number, take it. You may be making some changes, but you are using it under simple majority. Got it? Yeah. So that is Article 4.
Sir, I think 69th Constitutional Amendment Act, which made Union Territory Delhi to
NCT Delhi.
okay, so they introduced one more territory, I guess. That's why it's in Constitutional Amendment Act.
No. It is not for that purpose. It is called as 69th Amendment because there were so many other provisions that you will have. That means you will amend so many other provisions of the Constitution which can be done only using 368. Hence it is done. For example, even if you will open in books, a lot of people get these doubts. They'll go at whatever the logic I tell, you look at it in Puducherry. In Puducherry you will find 12th Constitutional Amendment 1962. Then people will get confused. Sir ne bola tha ki there will be no numbers, then how is there you have 10, 12? That is because other articles of the Constitution was also amended. It is not just about merging other things. That other things 368. Renaming Pondicherry into Puducherry, Article 3. No need of number. But some other provisions related to Puducherry if you want to change, that is 368, hence number. Like that. This is too much of detail. Nobody will ask you as a question. Just understanding. Got it? So that is 4. Basic point is this. Now you put a subheading. Question. Does the government have the power? Does the government of India, does the government have the power to cede? Cede means what? Give up. Does the government has the power or have the power to cede an Indian territory to another country? Does the government have the power to cede Indian territory to another country? Indian territory to another country. That means it's already part of India. Can you give up to another country? Fine. So now just look at the story, you will easily understand that. Remember in preamble chapter also we mentioned a case called as Berubari Union case 1960. Now I have already told you what does the Berubari Union means. It means it's a group of so many areas which was a territorial dispute between India and then East Pakistan, that is today's Bangladesh. So it was a boundary dispute between, that means dispute ka matlab, that also is a clarification that I'll mention. Boundary dispute between India and East Pakistan. Fine. This happened because of Radcliffe Commission. Remember Radcliffe Commission? So boundary commission, Radcliffe Commission, there was no clarity. Lot of things, which village, which area, this, a lot of things were there. Hence what happened, there was an agreement called as Nehru Noon Agreement 1957. Nehru means, I mean Indian Prime Minister, Noon. So his full name is whatever is there, he was Pakistan PM. So Indian PM and Pakistan PM. Why Pakistan? They signed an agreement and said, okay, we'll settle the boundary dispute once for all. That means what? I'll take this, you take that. Let's settle it. First of all, let's let the issue be resolved. Let's not fight again. No, they signed the agreement. Now the issue came up. Lot of people question, does the Prime Minister have the power to give up Indian territory? Because you are deciding it. India used to say that all belongs to India. Pakistan used to say that all belongs to Pakistan. So do you have the power? Do you, in the sense government, I mean Prime Minister is the head. Do you have the power to give up an Indian territory like that? That was a question that came up in Supreme Court. And Supreme Court said, what? No. Neither the Prime Minister, nor the External Affairs Minister, nor the President has the power. If you really want to give up an Indian territory to another country, then the procedure is so how do you have to do it? Amend the constitution under Article 368 and using special majority, and then you take the call. Not the PM or President here. Who is doing it? Parliament under 368 special majority. Fine. So actually for that they passed an amendment called as, they also passed it after Berubari Union case, they passed 9th Constitutional Amendment 1960 and then they had taken a call. But what happened? They did not implement it because West Bengal opposed it a lot. Fine, West Bengal opposed it, and in Pakistan, their constitution, I mean, of course, we can't go and amend Pakistan constitution, right? They have to do it. There they had their own problems, issue was not settled. So issue pending. So simple words, the issue did not get settled. So then what happened? 1971, Bangladesh got created. Obviously, all those things you know. So Indira Gandhi intervention, all those things, Bangladesh got created, East Pakistan became Bangladesh. Then what happened? Now Bangladesh and India wanted to settle the issue. Then again we signed some agreement in 1974. But again by the time it gets settled, the Bangladesh PM got murdered, assassinated, and that went into military rule. Again go on, when? Then again the issue came up in 1990s. Again opposition from West Bengal, it did not settle. Finally the issue came up in Manmohan Singh time 2011. He signed a protocol and it was all ready. Then again TMC said, I have told you yesterday itself, what? Compulsions of coalition, bargaining federalism. So West Bengal said, if you try to go ahead with this, I am going to take back my support. Again it postponed again. So finally what we have is something called as 100th Constitutional Amendments 2015, because by this time Narendra Modi had come to power. Now he has a majority. He doesn't have to depend on anybody. Complete majority. Now he was able to get the numbers. So finally they signed it and settled the issue. In fact here, which is famously called as, everything got settled as overall one, called as Land Enclaves Agreement, famously we called as Exchange of Land Enclaves. Sir, what do you mean by enclave? See, take it as this. If you take this as India, Bangladesh. Now let's take A, B, C. Now those territories are under which country? A, B, C belongs to what? India. But actually they were belonging to, belongs to what? Belongs to India. Sir, how is it? That's what is called as enclave. Means a territory which geographically belongs to one country but politically belongs to another country. So this PQR geographically belongs to which country? Geographically means you understand, right? Area wise Bangladesh, but politically it belongs to India. So इसका मतलब क्या होता है? Politically means people living in P, Q and R will be considered as Indian citizens. Bangladesh government will not provide them any facilities. Why should they provide? Because they are whose citizens? Our citizens. We have to provide. Same thing. A, B, C will not be considered as Indian citizen. Bangladesh citizens. So why will India provide any? First of all, first forget about India. India is a huge country. We can at least relatively much better. Bangladesh is able to provide their own people facilities. Why will they provide Indian citizens in PQR facilities? That's why they were kind of stateless, means they did not have any kind of country. Sir, how will this happen first of all? According to the historical one, it is because of a chess game. Yes, the chess only. It was between Nawab of Rangpur and Nawab of Kuch Bihar. So obviously you know what all kings used to do. So enjoy live a luxury life and all those things. What they used to tell, if I lose this game, so I have some area there, you take it. If I win this game, I'll take this area. So that is how they had done it. So Nawab of Kuch Bihar, what he did, he had won these areas, which belongs to Nawab of Rangpur. Nawab of Kuch Bihar, Rangpur had won these areas, which belongs to whatever like that. Now then what happened, Nawab of Rangpur joined Bangladesh. Because that is, he joined there, whatever, like how princely states joined. Now, but he owns ABC. According to documents, ABC belongs to Nawab of Rangpur. Now, Nawab of Rangpur joined Bangladesh. Now, what will they sign the agreement saying? Whatever territories that belongs to me, from now on will belong to whom? Bangladesh. That means which will belong to Bangladesh also? ABC. Nawab of Kuch Bihar will sign an agreement with Government of India and say, whatever territories that belongs to me, from today onwards will belong to whom? India. Now PQR, he also belonged to India. Like this, how many were there? Within India, there were 51 which belongs to Bangladesh. In Bangladesh, there were 111 which belongs to India. Now what will you do then? You just have to stay like that. The agreement finally, in addition to this, there was a lot of boundaries and everything. Finally, we said, nothing doing. Let the 51 belong to India. 111 will belong to whom? Bangladesh. Let's settle the issue once for all. So we actually gave up our territory. Because you can't do anything. But will you bring the land back? Will you fight war? That's all happening. It's so easy to tell on Times Now and all those things. It doesn't happen in reality. So hence, they settled the issue. Got it? So then the people were given an option. Let's say for example, a person is in P. Now he wants to belong to India. He wants Indian citizenship. That means you can't stay there. Then what do you have to do then? Come to India. Let's say sir, he has 10 acres land there. So you can't bring the land. So what is the agreement said? You give up their citizenship, you come and settle in India. We will give you our citizenship. We will give you our land. Whatever amount you have land there, same amount of land we will give you in our country. You come back. Same option. I think you understand. Those all things were done under 100th Constitutional Amendment 2015. Got it? How you give up Indian territory. The same procedure you have to do hypothetically. Again hypothetically just to understand the concept. So then don't take it emotionally. For example, as of now, Pakistan occupied Kashmir you have. That means, remember, Jammu Kashmir is not a territorial dispute. Territorial dispute का मतलब होता है politically, people keep in general telling it as dispute. Legally, territorial dispute the meaning is that there is no clarity about who will own this territory. It is under whose control. But for us, it is completely clear according to the documents because Raja Hari Singh has signed an agreement and said, whatever his entire area is there will belong to whom? India, which includes today's POK also. So POK, according to us, there is absolutely, it is clear, it is our territory. But practically, who is controlling it? The name itself says Pakistan occupied Kashmir. Let us say, for example, today, tomorrow, whatever, 10 years, 20 years down the line, you decided, let's settle the issue once for all, so that at least people of Kashmir, let them stay happy. Because ultimately, terrorism, all those things, they will also get affected. So then if we agree that let's make LOC, what you call it as line of control, the boundary, let POK belong to Pakistan. Then how do you do it? Whatever you done, because POK belongs to whom? India. So if you want to give up Indian territory to them, constitutional amendment under 368. Got it? So that's the point. So when you say territorial dispute, don't get confused then. So then what do you mean by dispute, sir? Dispute means, for example, as I said, which one? New Moor Island. Because we did not have a clarity who owns it. Because what is it? New Island. Then you settle it by agreement. Means there is no need of constitutional agreement, constitutional amendment, you just sign an agreement. Agreement का मतलब क्या होता है? Like Nehru-Noon agreement. You just sign an agreement. So this issue was given to International Court of Arbitration. So they settled it. And India and Bangladesh signed an agreement and said, okay, fine, you take 70-80%, give me 25-30%, whatever, settle. Got it? Because that was a disputed area. That means there was no clarity on which area, who controls that. There is another area called as, if you have heard, Kachativu Island. Fine, it belongs to, or it is in, remember you have heard Park Strait, Park Bay. It is between India and Sri Lanka. It's somewhere in the middle. There is no people who are living there. It is an uninhabited, they call. Uninhabited means there are no houses, nothing there. So then what is it? Both Indian and, obviously you know, India and Sri Lanka borders are very close. I mean, at least Tamil Nadu there. So both Indian fishermen and Sri Lankan fishermen come there. So they dry their fishing nets, take some rest or whatever it is, and then go back. Because when the fishermen go, they take 7 days, 10 days, whatever. Come there, settle, I mean, take rest for a few days or few hours, and then go back. You have a church also there, everything. But what is the issue? Even India did not have the legal documents to show that it belongs to us. Legal documents means in some document it should be written. See that Kachativu belongs to Tamil Nadu. Legal. You can't say it orally. Anybody can tell orally anything. You need some document to prove, right? Like for example, if you want to say this site is mine, what do you have to do? Show a paper, show a document. No sir, I feel it is mine. The feeling and all, there is no proof. Fine. So the same concept. So Sri Lanka also did not have the documents. Then finally what we did? Indira Gandhi signed an agreement with Sri Lankan government saying, we will give up. I mean what, let's settle it because it's a dispute, we'll give it up to you. Sir, why did Indira Gandhi give up? Because at that time there was a problem related to the Indian Tamils in Sri Lanka. You might have heard at least there is that the Tamils are there in Sri Lanka, right? Yes. There are two types of Tamils in Sri Lanka. One is the original Tamils, means Tamils who have lived there for very, very long time. And then the second Tamils is the Tamils which was taken by the British from Tamil Nadu to work, because remember Sri Lanka was also ruled by Britain. So from Tamil Nadu they took this cheap labor from Tamil Nadu and put them to work in the rubber and coffee plantations and tea plantations of Sri Lanka, central Sri Lankan hills. Now what they did, they settled there. Now Sri Lankan government agreed to give the citizenship to the original Sri Lankans who are in northern and the eastern Sri Lanka. But whoever of the Tamils in central Sri Lanka, Sri Lankan government said, you guys are illegal migrants, go back. Like how in India happens to Bangladeshi people, same, that you guys are illegal, go back. Now how will you go back? It's been 300 years or 250 years you might have come back. How will you go back? Where is your land? You might have earned here, land, everything, all issues. The agreement was, Indira Gandhi signed an agreement and said, you give citizenship to them. Now what will we do? We will give this land to you and we will give you additional help, financial help, and settle the issue once for all. Got it? So then what happened, that some political issues are there. Jayalalitha you might have heard. Jayalalitha, when she became CM, she started to produce legal documents saying Kachativu actually belongs to Tamil Nadu. Now when you prove legally that it belongs to Tamil Nadu, that means you can't give up by agreement. Aapko kya karna padega then? 368. Then the entire issue is gone. Now she has put a case in 2000 or sometime in Supreme Court. From then on the case is pending. Jayalalitha is already gone. The case is still pending. Fine. So that's the courts will take care. I just gave you all these things so that you get a broad idea about the picture. Clear, right? Yeah. So please write what is the heading. Now clarify. Write this. Berubari Union case or Berubari Union dispute. Berubari Union territorial dispute. Or rather than dispute, you can say issue also, fine. Berubari Union border dispute. So what was it? It was a dispute between India and then East Pakistan. It was a dispute between India and East Pakistan. It was a dispute between India and East Pakistan. Because of the lack of clarity in Radcliffe Boundary Commission award. It was a dispute between India and East Pakistan because of lack of clarity. Because of lack of clarity in Radcliffe Boundary Commission's award. Award means whatever that recommended. Lack of clarity in the Radcliffe's Boundary Commission award. Radcliffe's Boundary Commission award. Fine. How did they try to settle it? Nehru-Noon agreement was signed in 1957 to settle the issue. Nehru-Noon agreement. Nehru-Noon agreement was signed in 1957 to settle the issue. To settle the issue. Fine. Next below. However, Supreme Court in 1960 said that Supreme Court in, that's what is Berubari Union case. Supreme Court in 1960 said that Indian territory cannot be ceded to another country. Indian territory cannot be ceded to another country. Cannot be ceded to another country through an agreement. Cannot be ceded to another country through an agreement. Fine. Then how do you have to do it? Constitution has to be amended. Constitution should be amended under Article 368. Constitution should be amended under Article 368 using special majority or through special majority. Constitution should be amended under 368 using special majority. Fine. Hence, what did Parliament do? Next point. Parliament passed the 9th Constitutional Amendment 1960. Parliament passed 9th Constitutional Amendment 1960. 9th Constitutional Amendment 1960. But what happened? However, it was not implemented. As I said, because of a lot of political problems, however, it was not implemented. It was not implemented. Fine. Now, finally, means as I said, 70s, 2090s, बहुत सारे हो गया, but you don't have to remember everything. So like this, finally, 100th Constitutional Amendment 2015 was passed. Finally, 100th Constitutional Amendment 2015 was passed. 2015 was passed to settle the India-Bangladesh border issue, which includes Berubari. Everything was settled once for all. Was passed to settle the India-Bangladesh boundary issue. Fine. So that's what you call it as. Remember? Yeah, it was called as, and you can write that it was called as, or it is called as India-Bangladesh exchange of land enclaves. India, Bangladesh, exchange of land enclaves. And tell what do you mean by enclave, because a lot of people again ask the doubt. Enclave means an area which geographically belongs to one country but territorially, but politically and legally to another country. Enclave means an area which geographically belongs to one country but politically and legally belongs to another country. If you want, just as an illustration, you can write that. ABC, geographically India, politically Bangladesh. PQR, geographically Bangladesh, politically India. That's the enclave. So how many were there? Totally 51. You can understand that, please write. Fine. Just give the number. India gave up 111 enclaves to Bangladesh and got 51 in return. That's what in IR we call it as the principle of non-reciprocity. Reciprocal means what? I give you something, you give me something. That is called as reciprocate. Non-reciprocity means what then? I'll give you, you don't have to give it back to me, it's fine. So India follows the principle of non-reciprocity towards its smaller South Asian neighbors. Like for example, India gives so much of financial help to Bhutan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka and all of them. But what we don't expect? We don't say, okay, I gave you that last year, you give it to me now. We don't expect that. It's called as the elder brother attitude principle of non-reciprocity. They'll tell you in IR, but I just gave it. It's part of doctrine called as I.K. Gujral doctrine, who was former Prime Minister of India. Fine. So fine, 111 India to Bangladesh, 51 Bangladesh to India. Then that, as I said, if you want, just, it was because of what? Yeah, it just came in the sense, it was related to Nawab of Rangpur, Nawab of Kuch Bihar issue. Just in margin you clarify. If you have more, I mean, I have told you, because I can't dictate all those things, it takes a lot of time. It was related to what? Nawab of Rangpur. Nawab of Rangpur joined Bangladesh. Nawab of Kuch Bihar, he joined India. Nawab of Rangpur, Nawab of Kuch Bihar. So, between them. Fine, that's fine. Now, proceeding again below that. However, territorial disputes can be settled. How? Through an agreement between the countries. So you don't need amendments for that. Territorial disputes can be settled through an agreement between the countries. That means executive action through an agreement between the countries. How? Write the example. For example, Numur Island dispute between India and Bangladesh. Numur Island dispute between India and Bangladesh. Then if you want, India, Sri Lanka. Fine. So these are all issues related to Article 3, Article 4 and all those things.
As we have read about the Berubari Union case, so how preamble came into the picture?
Because there the concept came up that we have written a word called as sovereign. Now the concept, that means what? India is a sovereign state. Now a lot of people argued sovereign means what? You can take any decision. Hence Government of India argued, when you are sovereign, we'll take the call, we'll give it up. Got the point? Because we are a sovereign state, means Government of India also has the power to give it up. Now that's where the issues came up, that is sovereign, India is sovereign, is preamble. Because sovereign word, where do you find? You don't find anywhere in constitution, only where? Preamble. Then is preamble first of all part? Does it give you any power? Because legally you know how lawyers argue. They'll argue when the Government of India says we are sovereign, what is the lawyers tell? Who told you are sovereign? So then if the Government of India says, no sir, it's mentioned in preamble, then who told you preamble is part of constitution? No sir, that is what constitution, where is it? Prove it. So that's how the cases keep on going. That's for lawyers to leave it. You leave it to them. For us, broadly, this is the idea.
I think India as a state is sovereign, but Indians are not.
Correct, obviously. But how does the state derives its power? From the constitution. Constitution is made by whom? According to the constitution itself. We the people. So hence it is people who is creating the state, who is creating the constitution.
Sir, regarding Article 3, can state governments go to Supreme Court?
Can state governments?
Go to Supreme Court.
That any time you can go. That any time you can go.
Can Supreme Court direct Parliament?
Normally Supreme Court will not interfere. These things, if you have followed the procedure properly, Supreme Court will not interfere. Supreme Court will only interfere if you are not following procedure properly or if you are doing it arbitrarily, means you are trying to misuse your power. As for whatever it is, like for example, Berubari Union, they interfered. Reason? There was a lack of clarity. Can you give up? Can you not give up? Lack of clarity. Then they interfere. If there is clarity that yes, Parliament has the power to divide UP, to divide Maharashtra, to divide so and so, Supreme Court will not interfere, should not interfere actually. Yes, it will become more rich. You should not interfere too much then. The only politics should take care then. That means people, if they tell, Parliament may say, okay, we'll take back the bill. That's left to the politics. Is that fine? Yeah, then put the heading. Reorganization, or first you can say integration of princely states. Integration of princely states post-independence. This is post-independence before constitution, 47 to 50. Integration of princely states post-independence, in bracket you write 47 to 50. Integration of the princely states post-independence, 1947 to 1950. Fine. So then clarify. Obviously we know. During British time itself, you had two territories. One is called as province. Second one is what? Princely state. Provinces had no option. Because what is the only thing? Automatically it will become part of India. Then below you clarify. Indian Independence Act 1947. Indian Independence Act, Lord Mountbatten Act. Indian Independence Act 1947 had given the princely states how many options? 3 options. Indian Independence Act 1947 had given princely states 3 options. Had given princely states 3 options. Obviously, what are they? First one, join India. B, join Pakistan. 3, remain independent. Join India, join Pakistan, remain independent. Fine. Then, after partition of India, that is after independence, after partition, 2 princely states were geographically within India. After partition, 552. Earlier there were many, but all of them were few, a lot of them were in Pakistan side, they joined Pakistan, most of them. 552 princely states were in India or were situated geographically in India. Geographically situated in India. Fine. Out of them, 549 agreed to join India. Out of them, 549 agreed to join India. So obviously you know. So then what are those three where there were complications? Yeah. First one, Jammu and Kashmir. Under that first one, Jammu Kashmir integrated into India through Jammu Kashmir integrated into India through instrument of accession. Fine, integrated into India through IOA, instrument of accession signed between Raja Hari Singh. Instrument of accession signed between Raja Hari Singh and Government of India. Or you can write Nehru, Mountbatten, anybody. Signed between Raja Hari Singh and Indian government. Technically Mountbatten because he was the Governor General. And then two, Junagadh. Junagadh means, if you don't know where is it, which part of Gujarat, Saurashtra today. Junagadh, how did that integrate? Integrated into India through a plebiscite. Means what? They asked the people of Junagadh, where do you want to join? They said, we'll join India. So, integrated into India through plebiscites. That's what in books you find the word referendum because that's a common word, as I said. That basically people of Junagadh were given an option. Through plebiscite. 3, obviously what? Hyderabad. Hyderabad integrated into India through military action. Integrated into India through military action. In bracket you can write Operation Polo. Integrated into India through military action called as Operation Polo. Operation Polo. Fine. So first one is Jammu Kashmir. So look at the complications. Jammu Kashmir was what? I'll just give you a brief. Jammu Kashmir, the problem was, it was a Muslim majority area ruled by Hindu king. Fine. So Hindu king wanted to stay independent. So people were subdivided. Means a lot of people wanted to stay independent, a lot of people wanted to join India, a lot of few were also there who wanted to join Pakistan. So many complications were there. So he wanted to make what? He wanted to make Raja Hari Singh, he wanted to make Jammu Kashmir into the Switzerland of Asia. Because he felt that that kind of a climate is there, you can have our own tourism, so many, whatever he had. But practically it's not difficult. Imagine, look at the geography of Kashmir. One side Pakistan, one side India, one side China, one side Afghanistan also. How do you manage yourself? Geography determines so many things. How do you defend yourself? Can such a state defend against Pakistan? Or they can't even defend against Afghanistan. How will they defend against Pakistan or India or Bangladesh? China then? It's impossible. But of course, as a king, anyway, no king will be ready to give up into another country because then you will no longer be a king. You have to take up the democracy. Whatever issues, then they'll tell you in post-independence history, basically war happened after just within one and a half month a war happened. That's what his first India-Pakistan war. So he could not defend himself against the Pakistan army. Finally he said, please give us help to the Indian government. Indian government said what? I'll give you help. What do you do? Sign it. Sign it and say that you will join India. Okay sir, I don't have an option now. What should I do then? He said, if I want to just say, give me some special provision. That's what technically we call it as what? Article 370. That was later included in the constitution by Constitutional Assembly debates, but that is what is instrument of accession. That's a broader picture. The details it's very difficult to discuss here because that's not part of polity. Junagadh reverse. It was a Hindu majority area, Muslim king. Now the Muslim king wanted to join Pakistan because look at that is also not exactly a neighborhood of Pakistan but still closer. But people wanted to join India, obviously. Then what people started to revolt, they conducted a plebiscite. Finally, they said, we'll join India. Now, what did the king and do? King and the finance minister escaped and went to Pakistan. That finance minister itself is what you today call it as the Bhutto family. Remember, you might have heard Benazir Bhutto, Fatima, so many Bhuttos are there. Who has a, what is their party name? Whatever, some party name is Awami League, Awami is Bangladesh, whatever, they have a party. Pakistan People's Party, I think. So that party is headed by Bhutto family. The same Bhutto, whose ancestor, whose grandfather, whoever, was the finance minister of Junagadh, Diwan. Fine, that's the issue. Hyderabad is what? Again a Muslim king. Population, largely Hindus only, but of course Muslims were also relatively more. All those issues were there. Now he wanted to join Pakistan. Where is Hyderabad? Where is Pakistan? But in fact he had signed a arms deal also. That means he obviously anticipated he has to maintain his own army called as Razakar army. Razakars means the army, the soldiers of Nizam of Hyderabad was called as Razakars. So that army was there. Fine, so an arms deal also was a kind, that means that you help a government of India will do a, obviously you will anticipate that government of India will come and attack, all those things. All those issues are happening, so finally Indian government went. So much of resistance was there from Razakars, but still all killed. In fact, even today it's a classified document. We don't know how many deaths happened during that time. So huge Indian army also, because you don't have an option. Because Sardar Patel had famously told, both in Kashmir case as well as this case, that if you allow this kind of areas to join Pakistan, it will be considered like a cancer in the body of India. So what is the nature of cancer? Spread. So imagine if Hyderabad, where is it? It's almost, even though it is not in the central of India, it's still core. So it will spread like cancer. So you can't do, at any cost you can't give it to it. Then operation, why is it called as Operation Polo? Because polo is a game, if you know, on horses you sit. That was a favorite game of Hyderabad Nizam. That's why they codenamed it Operation Polo. This is just to understand broadly what all has happened in Indian history, but nobody will ask you, remember that. Fine, that has happened 47 to 50. The next point. Next point, in the original constitution, 1950. In the original constitution, Indian territories were grouped into 4 parts. Then at that time it was nothing called as states and UTs, it was something else. In the original constitution, Indian territories were grouped into 4 parts. 4 parts. Under that, part A. Part A, former British provinces, FORMER, previous. Part A, former British provinces. That means what? Obviously what? What are the former British provinces? Madras, Bombay, Bengal, like that. United Province, Punjab. Bombay, Madras, Bengal, etc. Then part B, capital right, part A, capital A, part B. Princely states with legislature, that means big princely states. Princely states with legislature. Princely states with legislature. Means those who had legislature during their time only, before independence. Example, same, Hyderabad, Jammu Kashmir, Mysore, Travancore. Travancore means Kerala, Trivandrum. Remember, if you have seen Rocket Boys season 2 came, Rocket Boys season 1 may they show the Travancore, who wanted to, the Raja Varma wanted to stay alone, stay independent in the beginning, then whatever issues happens. Fine, Mysore, Hyderabad, Travancore, Jammu Kashmir, those are all part B. Many were there, I am just giving you a few examples. Then part C, other princely states, that means small princely states. Part C, other princely states and CCP. CCP means you have already mentioned, what is it? Chief Commissioner's Province. Other princely states and Chief Commissioner's Province. They were under part C. Other princely states and Chief Commissioner's Province. What are the examples? Under that you can write Delhi, Ajmer, Coorg. Coorg means, as I said, it's a part of Karnataka. Delhi, Ajmer, Coorg, etc. Those are all other princely states. So many were there, but few. Saurashtra, everything was there. Then part D, only Andaman Nicobar Island. Part D, Andaman Nicobar Island. That was the only area under part D. That means in the original constitution there was no concept called as states and duties. It was subdivided into like this: Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Clear? This was 1950 May. Then obviously what happened? During the Indian freedom movement itself, the concept of, remember, British had created the states according to their wish, administrative convenience, whatever you call them as. But what do you call, especially in the south and the west, what had happened? People who are speaking one language, they all were feeling we all should be in one area, one state. Like how French people said France, English people said England, or whatever, Spain, Germany, like that. South and the west people are asking, people who speak this common language, we all should be under one state. But let's take for example Telugu speaking people. Telugu speaking people were divided, were few of under Hyderabad Nizam area, Hyderabad state, Hyderabad princely state, few were under Madras, few were under Bombay. Fine, Marathi if you take Kannada speaking people, it was spread under what? Mysore, the Mysore king you might have heard, Mysore king area, Hyderabad Nizam area, Bombay, Madras, Travancore. So these are all technically called as they were all demanding that one language, major language speaking people, we need one state. Linguistic reorganization we tell, that's your next point. States reorganization post-independence, or you can say post-constitution also. States, reorganization of the states post-independence.
So Northeast was under
Northeast is only one area called as Assam. That's it, part A. Because there was nothing called as Arna, whatever you call it as now, there was nothing like that. Reorganization of the states post-independence. How did that happen? So just we'll write a brief, other points we'll take up later. There was a demand for linguistic, that means based on language. There was a demand for linguistic reorganization of the states even during freedom movements. There was a demand for linguistic, language-based reorganization of the states even during freedom movement. Even during freedom movement. Fine. British had created provinces for their administrative convenience. They did not care for who speaks which language, because why will they care? It's a colonial power. British had created provinces for their administrative convenience. British had created provinces for their administrative convenience. Fine. Then below, keep reading as points. Motilal Nehru Committee report. Modern India is done, right? So if you can recall Motilal Nehru Committee report 1928, 1929, let's say. Motilal Nehru Committee report of 1929 also supported linguistic states. Motilal Nehru Committee report 1929 supported linguistic states. Fine. Congress also supported. That means Congress including leaders like Nehru, Gandhi, Patel, everybody. Congress, you can also write in bracket what, including Gandhi, Nehru, Patel. Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru, Patel supported what? Linguistic states. Supported linguistic states. And because they felt, okay, yes, it's much better if people speaking one state or under one area and their official language is the same, people will feel a connect, emotional connect, because our language is ultimately the core medium of your expression, anything you want to do. But then what happened? However, Government of India or the same leaders you can say. However, the same leaders, that means the same Nehru, the same Patel. However, the same leaders opposed this after independence. That means they have supported it before independence, but they rejected it after. However, the same leaders rejected it after independence. Why, sir? Because of the fear of regionalism and linguism, which may further partition India. Because they felt it will further divide. The same leaders opposed this concept after independence, on what grounds? Because of the fear of regionalism and linguism. Because of the fear of regionalism and linguism. Fine. So finally then what happened? Of course they created committees. Under that first one, Dar committee, DHAR, Dar, headed by one of the former judge of Supreme Court, Dar committee. It rejected linguistic reorganization. DHAR, Dar committee, it rejected linguistic reorganization. Fine, it said no, nothing doing, whatever is existing, let it continue. Then JVP committee, JVP, write it in capitals, JVP committee. So JVP means what? Correct, same. Jawaharlal Nehru, Vallabhbhai Patel, Pattabi Sitaramaiah. JVP committee. J for Nehru, Jawaharlal Nehru. V for Sardar Patel, Vallabhbhai Patel. P for Pattabi Sitaramaiah. Pattabi, he was a leader from Andhra Pradesh. Pattabi Sitaramaiah. Whatever you can write, MAIAH also, MAYYA also. Pattabi Sitaramaiah. Fine, Sardar Patel and Pattabi, what did they do? It also rejected linguistic reorganization. That means look at the same leaders again. It also rejected linguistic reorganization. Then the issue came up. As I said, 1953, Telugu speaking areas of Madras state, state only. Telugu speaking areas of Madras state Telugu speaking areas of Madras state was separated into, because a lot of protests happened. Telugu speaking areas of Madras state separated into Andhra state. It is not Andhra Pradesh, it is only Andhra. Separated into Andhra state. Andhra state. Not Andhra Pradesh, Andhra. When did Andhra Pradesh happen? This plus Hyderabad Nizam, whatever you call it as today Telangana and Andhra got combined and became Andhra Pradesh. Then again now it is subdivided, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh. Whatever, that's all not necessary. So Andhra state was created. Why? You can write, it was because of the death of there was a protester called Potti Srinamulu. It was because of death of Potti Srinamulu. He died because of the hunger, fast, whatever you call it as. That led to a lot of protest. The Article 3, they created this. It was because of the death of Potti Srinamulu. Potti Srinamulu. Now will others keep quiet then? Now when you create Telugu areas separately, will Tamil areas, Malayalam areas, Kannada areas, Marathi areas keep quiet? That's what is next one. Government of India created States Reorganization Commission in 1953. Government of India created States Reorganization Commission. So landmark commission in Indian history this is with respect to the Indian reorganization. States Reorganization Commission 1953. 1953. Underline that entire one. States Reorganization Commission 1953, headed by Fazl Ali. He was former Supreme Court judge, headed by Fazl Ali. Fazl Ali, which included also included Panikkar and Kunzru. That means other members. Panikkar was, remember, in Delhi itself, there is a very famous newspaper called as Hindustan Times. This Panikkar was one of the founder of Hindustan Times. He was actually Malayali, but he came and settled in, worked in Punjab, and he had established it. Panikkar and Kunzru. Fine. Then they gave the report, all those things. What did they say? What happened later? All those things is the next part. So let's take a break and think about it. Okay. So any doubts still here? All fine. We start. Now what did this committee say? Obviously, as I said, so after Dharma Commission rejected it, JP committee rejected it. So finally, so Andhra state was created, and then the demand started from so many other language-based people that we also need our own state like that. So finally, they established States Reorganization Commission 1956, which was headed by whom? Fazl Ali Commission. So the committee went across the country, commission. So they took the opinion of so many people. Finally, they gave the report in 1956, which is the landmark in Indian history. So, right, what did they say? The report was submitted in 1956. It was part of India itself. It was under the control of British Andaman Island integration. You don't have to integrate it again, Suman. Right, so the committee submitted the report, commission submitted the report in 1956 and agreed for, the report was submitted in 1956 and it agreed for what? Language, linguistic based reorganization, and agreed for the linguistic reorganization. Agreed for the linguistic reorganization. Fine, but keep reading in points below that. However, it rejected one language, one state formula. Means you can't create for every language a state because there are how many languages in India? However, it rejected. However, it rejected one language, one state formula. It rejected one language, one state formula. Fine. So then below, other parameters were also suggested. That means you should also keep in mind, in addition to language, other parameters. Other parameters should also be considered while reorganizing the states. Other parameters should also be considered while reorganizing the states. While reorganizing the states. Means don't take up only language issue. There are so many other issues also you should consider while reorganizing. What are they? First one, sovereignty and integrity of India. Of course, sovereignty, unity, integrity, overall they tell. Broadly, sovereignty, integrity of India. That means make sure that just when you create a state, India's unity should never get affected. Sovereignty and integrity of India. Fine. 2. Cultural linguistic homogeneity. Means people should feel that they all are one, whoever are people living in a state. Cultural linguistic homogeneity. Homogeneity means you understand, right? Commonality, similarity. Cultural linguistic homogeneity. 3. Financial administrative factors consideration. Financial administrative factor. Financial administrative factor. Then D, welfare of the people of the state and India. Welfare of the people of the state and India as a whole. Welfare of the people of the state and India as a whole. Fine, so it suggested don't take up only language. In addition, take up all these things also. Like for example, very simple one. Let's say take up Andhra Pradesh itself because the recent one, Jammu Kashmir is completely new one. I'll tell you that how it was abrogated everything. Now look at Andhra Pradesh, it was divided into what? Telangana and then Andhra Pradesh. Now if you have seen, so according to the 2014 Act, Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Act, Hyderabad, obviously you know, the overall united Andhra Pradesh capital was Hyderabad. Hyderabad was made as the common capital for 10 years. Means till 2024, Hyderabad is common capital for both Telangana as well as which one? Andhra Pradesh. And what the Act has told is that within these 10 years, Let Andhra Pradesh create their own capital. So that means after 2024, Hyderabad will belong to whom then? Telangana, you create your own capital. Now it is struggling a lot to create its own capital, Andhra Pradesh. You might have heard that they tried it, they tried with something called as Amravati. And imagine, sir, why is it so difficult? It's very, very difficult. To creating a capital city is not so easy. Look at Delhi. Delhi is not created once for, imagine, just trace back its history. How many years? How many centuries? Right from Delhi Sultanate, or probably even before that itself. So it has to emerge like that. Once for all, if you want to create in 10 years, you need for a city like, let's say, Delhi to be created, you need at least 1 lakh crore for infrastructure. Overall, forget about people. People is later, business is later. To whatever these roads, buildings, this, that, everything you have to plan right. Minimum for a city like this, you need 1 lakh crore. Where will Andhra Pradesh get 1 lakh crore? The only major city which was giving the United Andhra Pradesh, the major revenue came from Hyderabad. Hyderabad contributed at least 2 by 3. That means minimum 65 to 70% of overall Andhra Pradesh revenue. Money, take it as GDP, technically you know by now all those things. To that level. Now Hyderabad belongs to whom now? Telangana. Why will Telangana give it to Andhra Pradesh? Now where will Andhra Pradesh get the money then? So let them create industry. What industry you can't create in one day, right? Industry you can't create in 2 years, 3 years, you can't create industry just like that. Because for industries to come, you need huge cities, you need infrastructure, you need roads, this, that, everything you need. So all those things is a huge problem. That's why what they have told, no, building a completely new city is very difficult. That's why what we'll do is, the existing cities, we'll make it as 3 capital cities. One for legislature, one for administrative, one for judicial, they have told. That itself again came to problem. Now they have told we'll make one only as Visakhapatnam. Vizag, what we call. Then again there is a problem. So that means imagine now imagine that Andhra Pradesh has ports. Andhra Pradesh is the coastal areas one, but still there are problems. What if you create a continental, means what? The area which doesn't have any ports and you make them as separate state, it is very, very difficult. That means, let's say for example, you want to make, there is a demand, like let's say Purvanchal, if you try to make it as a separate state, where do you get the money to manage Purvanchal? Ultimately, if you make it state, you need money to manage yourself. So many officers you have to pay, for people you have to implement schemes, police maintain karna hai, so many things you imagine. Capital city ka hai. Where do you have such a big city then? Purvanchal means what? I think Varanasi, everything will come under Purvanchal. That area, which is any major city at that area, like Eastern UP. What else is there? I don't know exactly, I've forgotten, but Varanasi, all those things. But you can't make such a, so then don't tell me, sir, holy city, sir, that's a different angle. So, but to maintain, you need industries, you need service sector, that religion angle you live, you can't bring all those things for administration, right? Delhi Jaisa city, where do you have? Mumbai Jaisa city, Bangalore Jaisa city, or Hyderabad, where do you have such kind of cities? Very difficult. GDP, where will you get? Then you have to depend on whom then? Government of India. Why will Government of India give you every time so much of money then? So that all will create a lot of problems. It's not so easy to create. You have to create states, because Ambedkar will write all those factors. Ambedkar and a lot of people had argued in the Constituent Assembly debate itself that for a country as large as India with such a geography and such a population, we need at least around 50 states. This was told in 1948-49. Today we have 28 states. Now yes, we need more states because you can't manage big states, it is impossible. You can manage such a state like Uttar Pradesh. Nowhere in the world probably they manage something like that. What is, according to the official population itself, is somewhere around 25. 20. That is 2011 census. 2021 census, if you had minimum 5 crore, and leave out the number, take the numbers who have not been counted in census. Minimum 25 to 30 crore population. It is 5 times entire England, entire UK. It is half of Europe. Europe population be probably 30 crore will not be there. How do you manage it? You think practically, leave out everything else. How do you administer? 1 MP in UP represents 40 lakh people. Nowhere in the world this happens. 40 lakh people. If you add another 3 MPs, it's a European country. It is 1 MP seat in India. I mean, practically understanding the problem, how do you respond to so many people's need? इतना सारे problems होता है, education, health, sanity, this, that, unimaginable problems. That's why the very, very greater need is we need something to do with especially UP, because you can't manage such a big state. It's impossible practically. But people are not demanding, because people don't have that level of awareness or whatever. In general, in India, it's like that. In administration, we keep telling that Indians have a very high tolerance for maladministration. Maladministration means negative administration. We don't care. अरे यार भगवान ने ऐसा रखा है, so that kind of a angle. So that let's stay like this, karma philosophy, everything is good and fine. So I'm happy with what I have, roti, kana, all those. If you have, where do you demand then? So that's the reason so many problems are still pending. So we have to do it, but finance is a problem. Like for example, if you create more states, interstate border disputes will increase. For example, earlier you might have heard Krishna water dispute. Krishna river water dispute was between Maharashtra, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh. Now they have divided water between those three. Now they want to redivide the water between Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, because now it is two states. So border disputes, बहुत सारे problems होता है. So for all these things we don't have solutions. We need lot of discussions for this. They are demanding a state, if you don't call it as Gorkha land. Gorkha land means the area, Darjeeling is the core, and wherever you have the, Gorkha ethnicity people, parts of, Sikkim, parts of, Darjeeling is the core, parts of Sikkim, parts of Assam, everything integrated, they want Gorkha land. Within Tripura, there is even recently you might have heard, there is a demand called as Greater Tripura land. There is demand for Vidarbha out of Maharashtra. There is demand for Saurashtra out of Gujarat. There is demand for Bundelkhand, Bagelkhand. So many things are going on. Ladakh, as I said. So there are demands, but it is not so easy for us to create, because in India, development is in such a way that it is all concentrated in few areas. Even if you take Karnataka, even in Karnataka there is a kind of demand. Bangalore, we all know that obviously the IT capital, all those things. Bangalore contributes 70% of Karnataka's GDP. Now, if you want to create other state, where do you maintain them? So that's the reason. First, we need a lot of tier 2, tier 3 cities and all those things, but we are unable to do it. So hence all these problems. It's a very, very complicated process. Fine. We'll write that. Whatever I told you now is what you call it as, do you need more smaller states or not? Answer is obviously yes, because we need, or else you can't manage. Plus, but you should also be aware of the challenges. Clear? That aspect will I think you got a broader idea about the states reorganization. Now below you clarify. The commission recommended. The commission recommended creation of 16 states. The commission recommended creation of 16 states and 3 centrally administered territories. 16 states and 3, they had used the word not union territory, centrally administered territory. 16 states, 3 centrally administered territory was their recommendation. Then what did the government of India do? Below that, Parliament passed 7th Constitutional Amendment 1956. Again, I have told you, you should actually not name the numbers, but this number is because other provisions were amended. Parliament passed 7th Constitutional Amendment 1956 and States Reorganization Act 1956. Both are very important landmark amendment acts. 7th Constitutional Amendment 1956, States Reorganization Act 1956, underline both, and created 14 states and 6 union territories. 14 states and 6 union territories. Fine, 7th Constitutional Amendment 56, States Reorganization Act 1956. Clear? So this had happened. Now, of course, the problems did not stop. Now the fourth one, that is, for the subheading reorganization after 1956. So 47 to 50 is one, 50 to 56 is one, after 56 is another one. Reorganization after 1956. So we just broadly will write the facts. What all happened after that? So it's huge list. As I said, 1960. Bombay state divided into 1960. Bombay state divided into, obviously what? Marathi speaking Maharashtra, Gujarati speaking Gujarat. Divided into Marathi speaking Maharashtra, Gujarati speaking Gujarat. In fact, there was a problem even there, just to give you a broad understanding. So Bombay city was a major everything. Of course, even today it's the financial capital of India was a. Now a lot of Gujaratis said, we have contributed a lot to the growth of Bombay city. We want it as common capital. Or they said, make it as the capital of Gujarat. But where is Gujarat? Where is Mumbai? Where is Bombay? So finally Government of India said, because you guys are unable to settle Marathis and Gujaratis, we will make Bombay a UT. Means what? Not even for Maharashtra, not even for Gujarat. We'll make, like Chandigarh ka problem. Because Chandigarh actually, they wanted to give it to Punjab. Haryana doesn't agree. Now what should we do then? Whatever, the famous one, if you guys are unable to settle, the advantage is for third person. Government of India makes it a UT. Fine, same thing, they had decided it for, what do you call as this, which one? Bombay also. But then the Marathis took it as a very, because if you lose it, if Bombay goes to Government of India, where will Maharashtra get its revenue? Imagine for smaller city, Bombay is the financial capital of India. Imagine the revenue, imagine the worth. So then huge protest happened. In fact, almost around 100 people died. That is famously called as the Hutatma Divas, Martyrs Day in Maharashtra. Finally, Government of India said, fine, because when 100 people die, what will happen? Imagine the emotional impact. They said, fine, let's settle the matter, Maharashtra, and then rename it and give it to whom? Marathis. That means it belonged to Bombay city, was made as the capital of Maharashtra. That is the 1960 angle. Then 1961. Dadra Nagar Haveli merged into India. Dadra Nagar Haveli merged into India. Fine. Just for clarify there, Portuguese had given it up in 1954 itself. Portuguese had given up, that means had given it to India in 1954. Portuguese had given it to India in 1954. It was managed as an acquired territory till 1961. Remember acquired territory now? It was managed as acquired territory. It was managed as acquired territory till 1961. As an acquired territory till 1961. So then finally what we did? What is it today? UT. In 1961 it was made a UT. In Article 2. In 1961 it was made UT. It was made a UT. Then 1962. Goa, Daman and Diu integrated into India, Article 2. Remember, because at that, till then it was not part of India, now integrated into India, Article 2. Goa, Daman and Diu integrated into India. Goa, Daman and Diu integrated into India. Again clarify, till December 1961. Till December 1961, it was controlled by Portuguese, it was ruled by Portuguese. So Indian Army intervened. In fact, the issue was discussed in United Nations also. Even in United Nations, Portugal had argued that Goa should belong to them. Not here, UN. It was Russia who backed us, and finally it was the pressure came towards India, means in favor of India. Fine. Okay, so basic point is till December 1961 it was ruled by whom? Portuguese. Then as I said, Indian Army, all those things. 1962 it was made a UT. 1962 it was made UT. 1962 it was made a UT. Fine. Then again 1962 Puducherry integrated into India. At that time not Puducherry, Pondicherry. Fine. So if you want to rename Pondicherry into Puducherry, how do you do it? Article 3. So don't take it as Article 3 is only about renaming the states. Uttaranchal renamed as Uttarakhand, West Bengal to be renamed as Bangalore. Not only that is Article 3. Renaming of union territory is also which one? Article 3 only. So again, if you have the doubt, go clarify there in Article 3. Even renaming of which one? Union territories is also under Article 3. Clear? Yeah, if you have the doubt, please clarify or else continue. Fine. So in 1954, below that Pondicherry mein, in 1954, French agreed or French gave it up to India. In 1954, French gave it up to India. Fine. Then it was then they'll appoint an officer that managed it. In 1962, it was made a UT. 1962, it was made a UT. Fine. These are all Article 3 I have already mentioned. Sorry, Article 2 I have already mentioned.
Like Puducherry is very
Segregated.
segregated.
Yeah, 4 components they have.
And as per the States Reorganization Commission or Fazl Commission, there the point C is financial administrative factors should be kept in mind. So why it is still segregated?
Because historically, obviously, French used to control all those areas. So it has remained like that. But plus in another point where it comes up is, does the people have the demand? If people don't demand, normally, fine, status quo. Only if there is for Telangana to be created, there is a popular people demand. People protested, then the governments will respond. Or else status quo, there is a very famous point in administration which says, do not change those things which are working well. Let it continue. So this administration works like that. So keep continuing. Fine. Yeah, 1962, Puducherry made a UT. Then 1963, Nagaland created out of Assam. This is the first state. I mean, as I said, Assam was the only big one. So now the first state. 1963, Nagaland created out of Assam. Naga Hills, all those things are there, but basically, Nagaland created out of Assam. 1966, Punjab divided into, obviously we know, just write that. Punjab divided into Punjabi speaking Punjab, Hindi speaking Haryana. I think they call it as Haryanvi also, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Punjabi speaking Punjab, Hindi speaking Haryana.
Sir, was it not based on religion?
Not necessarily, yes, in a way that is also there, in a way language is also there. Fine. So that is not, this is not Khalistan movement. What happened in 1966 is a autonomy movement, because at that time it was led by Master Tara Singh. If you want in margin you can write, this movement was led by Master Tara Singh. So till then it was what? That they need a separate state for Punjabis, Sikh people. Fine. But what has started in 1980s, what is that? That is secessionist. If you want, clarify in margin. 1980s secessionist movement called Khalistan movement started. 1980s, the secessionist Khalistan movement started. So Khalistan is not for separate state. Khalistan is for what? Country. 1980s secessionist Khalistan movement started. And who is the face of it? Obviously you might have seen the Waris De Punjab now. What is he wearing, like the dress, everything? Yeah. Bindran Wale, led by, not exactly led by, actually there were so many people, but he is the emotional, someone will become like a face, right? He is the face, led by Bindran Wale. He was the one who was hiding in that golden temple, and then Indira Gandhi took it away. So many issues. You all know that Operation Blue Star, and then Indira Gandhi's assassination, Indian history changes. Those are some 1980s. It was a completely huge, we can call it as, technically there is a word called as tumultuous decade, means very disturbing decade for India. 1970 was one way, emergency, but 1980s is this integration issues, especially Punjab, of course Kashmir also. Kashmir issue started in that 1980s, which has still not stopped. 1990s was a decade for this economy because 1991 reforms and everything. Politically, 80s was very disturbing because one, Indira Gandhi assassination, two, more or less Rajiv Gandhi assassination also. 1992 it happened, fine, but still more or less the same. 1991 means, so all sort of things changed in that 5-7 years. Ayodhya movement started, that again changed India forever. So like that, huge issues happened. Fine, that all we will study in post-independence history, don't worry. I am just integrating so that you get a clarity. Okay, so what did we read? So Punjab and Haryana. The next one, I mean clarify there itself, or you can write it as 1971. 1971, Himachal Pradesh made into a state. So earlier it was a UT, now it is made a state. Himachal Pradesh made into a state. 71 this is, 72. 72 because 1971 mein obviously Bangladesh was created. So Bangladesh and Northeast is all integrated. We all know that obviously geographically. Hence we wanted to do something in Bangladesh, I mean something to do in Northeast. That's what 1972, reorganization of Northeast. 1972, reorganization of Northeast. Fine, what all happened? Meghalaya, Manipur, Tripura made into states. Meghalaya, Manipur, Tripura made into states. Then Mizoram, Arunachal Pradesh made into UT. Mizoram and Arunachal Pradesh made into union territories. Mizoram, Arunachal Pradesh made into UTs. Okay, that is a major reorganization year for Northeast. As I said, the reason 1971 mein Bangladesh was created. So we wanted to avoid any further problems, hence reorganized. Then 1975, Sikkim integrated into India. Sikkim integrated into India. So write few points and then I'll tell you the details. Sikkim integrated into India. Keep writing into points or below that. First one. After independence, Sikkim was declared a protectorate state of India. After independence, Sikkim was declared protectorate. That means India will protect you. Sikkim was declared a protectorate state for India or of India. So underline that phrase, protectorate state. What do you mean by that? Clarify. It means India will protect Sikkim. It means India will protect Sikkim in the matters of defense, external affairs, communication. India will protect Sikkim in the matters of defense, external affairs, communication. And as I said, it was ruled by whom? Yeah, below that it was ruled by, keep writing in points, it was ruled by Chogyal dynasty. That means it was a monarchy actually. It was ruled by Chogyal, Chogyal. Chogyal dynasty. Whatever, so many king names will be there, that's all not necessary for us. Ruled by the Chogyal dynasty. Fine, so then what happened? Because of the people's protest, an agreement was signed with India, or an agreement was signed with Sikkim, anything you can write. Because the people's protest, an agreement was signed, and 35th Constitutional Amendment 1974 was passed. 35th Constitutional Amendment 1974. 35th Constitutional Amendment 1974 was passed, and Sikkim was given associate state, or Sikkim was made an associate state. And Sikkim was made an associate state. Now see, protectorate became associate. Means what? Earlier it was like what? Sikkim was like a separate country. It was ruled by whom? Chogyal dynasty. Of course, Sikkim was also under actually the British control, all those things during British era. After independence, what we did? We gave up the rule to themselves, that you manage by yourself. Yourself means Chogyal dynasty. We did not integrate them into India. Fine, it remained like that, they used to rule. But then what happened by 1970s, because of India's progress, people of Sikkim started to protest saying, we want to be with India. But the king was not ready to give up the control. Obviously, any monarch will not give up the control, as I said, because you will become a part of democracy then. Hence, a mid-path was identified. That is this mid-path called as associate state. It was a special category given to given to Sikkim. Not completely part of India, not completely separate also. Somewhere mid-path. Lot of special provisions were given to them. Associate state. Article 2, capital A was added. So many things were there. That's all not necessary because you don't have it now. Basically, 35th Amendment was passed in 1974. Associate state. That means if you want in bracket, you can write not completely integrated with India. So that you get a clarity. Like how you have it today, it was not like that. Not completely merged, integrated with India. Sikkim was given an associate state category or status. That means not completely integrated with India. So then people of Sikkim were not happy. That's when, next one, in 1975, a plebiscite was conducted. That's what broadly take it as vote. 1975, a plebiscite was conducted. And what is obviously they choose? Yeah, people of Sikkim voted to be completely integrated with India. 1975, plebiscite was conducted. People of Sikkim voted to be completely merged, integrated with India. Completely integrated with India. Fine. So one status, first is completely as a separate country, then a mid-path, then now completely merged. Then what we did? That's the next one. 36th Constitutional Amendment 1975 was passed. 36th Constitutional Amendment 1975. 36th Constitutional Amendment 1975 was passed. Again I am telling you, this is done under Article 2 itself. Actually there is no need of this amendment. But why was this amendment given then? To provide Article 371F, other provision. 36th Constitutional Amendment 1975 was passed to provide Article 371 capital F, special provisions to Sikkim. Article 371 capital F, special provision. What kind of federalism? I've already mentioned all these things. Asymmetric, not quasi, asymmetric. Fine, 371 F, special provision was provided to Sikkim. Fine, got an idea how the Sikkim integration happened, all those things, then it's normal one. Fine, if you want again go through the chronology, if you have a doubt, please ask Sikkim one. Though it's not an important one, at least conceptually you need to understand. So you understood why the number is given, right? 36, 35, everything. Because other provisions of constitution were all like 371 F was added and so many other things were changed. Not because of integration. Integration is normal. Article 2, there is no need to amend, or 368 is not needed. Ask, it's fine.
Sir, was there any China angle in this? The Sikkim border?
China's angle is also there, obviously, because if you look at the geography of Sikkim, it is closely associated with Nepal, and then on the north you have the Tibet region, or let's say China region, of course, yes, and Sikkim is very crucial even for us, because if China gets control of Sikkim, then it would be a huge strategic setback for us, because if they get control of that, remember a few years back you had an issue called as, not Doklam, am I able to recall that one? The Doklam itself, I think. Doklam dispute. But what happened in Jammu Kashmir was it? Galwan, yeah, correct. So those two, Doklam issue had happened, remember that? So because China had a little penetrated there. So Sikkim, you have that area there. Imagine what if they get the control of Sikkim then? They can cut off entire northeast from India, because India is connected, mainstream India is connected to them through what? Chicken Snake Siliguri corridor. If you cut off that, entire northeast, huge issues will happen. Hence we need to have very good, that's why it was integrated. It's a very good move for Indian sake, because you need Sikkim to be integral part of India. That's the reason we will be ready to give so much of financial help to Bhutan also, because or else if Bhutan gets into the friendship or whatever you call it as of China, but Bhutan is also more or less their own imagine then. Yeah, like that. That's why it is all very, very important. Fine, international relation angle, that they'll take it there. Huh?
So why only Mizoram and Arunachal Pradesh are made UTs and other were state road?
No, that time obviously what will happen, wherever you have greater demand. Arunachal Pradesh, because remember China is still claiming Arunachal Pradesh. China calls Arunachal Pradesh as South Tibet. Hence the problem was still greater there. So hence, and it was only what? It was only 1962 mein war hua tha. Hence we felt, and Arunachal Pradesh maybe there will not be any greater demand. Movements was not happening. Hence we felt, let's make it UC, because if you make it UT, who is having control? Government of India. But later it was also made, that will right now. Fine, Mizoram was still having problems. There was a movement going on called as Mizo National Front was there. They was conducting a lot of movement. That itself is now you call it as, they have made their own parties, everything is there. But basically there was a problem. So there was a person called as Lal Denga. So they had a movement there, Mizos. All Tripura Tiger Front, there was a movement in Tripura. Nagaland is still not solved. NSC and National Socialist Council of Nagaland movement was still, so like that many problems are there. Ulfa movement was there in Assam, called as United Liberation Front of Assam. So huge problems were there. More or less everything has been solved. So for this, Rajiv Gandhi had played a greater role, because he had signed an agreement with us in Assam, All Assam Students Union Agreement. That's what famously called as Assam Accord. With Mizos he signed an agreement. For Tripura he signed an agreement. For Nagas he signed, more or less for everything in Northeast he signed agreements. A lot of problems got solved after that. That's when you had the next one, 1987. Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram and Goa made into states. So Mizo Accord was signed, 87. Mizoram, Arunachal Pradesh, Goa made into states. Mizoram, Arunachal Pradesh and Goa made into states. Fine, 87. Rajiv Gandhi era, that is. Then 2000. Another major reorganization, 2000, which we know obviously. Yeah, same. Uttaranchal. At that time Uttaranchal, then you can write any name. Uttaranchal. Or Uttarakhand itself directly you can write if you want. Out of which state? UP. Chhattisgarh out of Madhya Pradesh. Jharkhand out of, yeah. Fine, that is 2000. Because that also was movement going on for a long time. Because the people of Jharkhand felt, we have all the resources, we give it. Like in areas in and around Patna benefit. Chhattisgarh people felt, we have all the resources, I don't know, coal was areas in and around Bhopal and Indore benefit. What should we do? And there was also a cultural angle. Because Jharkhand, all these areas are largely, tribal culture is there. Everything will be different. So languages will be different. So Hindi domination. So many issues were there. So that's why they made their own whatever movement. Jharkhand Mukti Morcha movement was there. So like that many things were going on. Fine. That is one. That is 2000. Then 2014. 2014 we have already mentioned, just like that. Telangana out of Andhra Pradesh. Then 2019 Jammu, first one is what? Jammu Kashmir made into state, divided into 2 UTs. 2019 Jammu Kashmir made into UT and divided into 2 UTs. And made into 2 UTs. Fine, that you know, I don't have to mention, all those things you note down. Then 2020, we have already mentioned all these things, DD, DNH merged. 2020, DD, DNH merged. Fine? Yeah, now, because you asked that Kashmir one, actually how did it happen? So you have Article 370 abrogated. I will not dictate, if you want just note down the process. Nobody will ask you this because it's all still court cases pending. Both sare controversies hai, obviously nobody will ask. So just as a polity student, if you want to understand broadly. Abrogation in 2019. Fine, what did they do? Actually what has to happen is, based on Article 370 itself, they have given the procedure. If you want to abrogate it, abrogate means what? Non-effective, non-enforceable, non-effective. That means it is still there in the constitution, we are not implementing it. It doesn't have any force. Fine. Now as mentioned in 371, if you want to make it non-enforceable, because a lot of provisions of Indian constitution were not applicable there. IPC was not applicable, there is their own code. So fine, so they had Ranbir penal code. So they had their own, had made it. RTI was, so many acts were not applicable. Fine, see, right to property was still there as a fundamental right there. There was a concept called as permanent residence of Jammu Kashmir. Article 35 capital A. Permanent residence of Jammu Kashmir means they had categorized some people as permanent residents. Based on so and so documents, you are born here, all those things. Only they can buy property in Jammu and Kashmir. Fine, that was a provision, 35 capital A. And another provision was that, let us say for example, a male Jammu Kashmir permanent resident marries a female outside Jammu and Kashmir, the property will stay with him, will continue for their sons and daughters. Let's say female permanent resident of Jammu Kashmir marries outside, the property will not be given to her, her children. Because the reason is what? If a female of Jammu Kashmir marries outside, an outsider will come and get settled here. The male angle is associated there. That means if a female marries outside, your children will not get property. If a male marries outside, children will get property. All these things were there. 35A, permanent resident category of Jammu Kashmir. And of course, there was a lot of criticism that 370 is a barrier for complete integration of Jammu Kashmir into India. All those issues were going on. Those are all completely different. Why the Jammu Kashmir issue? I can't get into those things. That's part of security. So basically, if you want to abrogate 370, the procedure was, this is the actual procedure. Actual procedure is, President, this is under 370 itself. President can abrogate it, means end it, because according to constitution itself, it's a temporary transitional provision. President can abrogate it on the recommendation of Constituent Assembly of Jammu and Kashmir. Now this is the trick here. This is the provision. That how can President do it? Go get the recommendation of whom? Jammu and Kashmir ka Constituent Assembly. Because remember, Jammu and Kashmir had its own constitution. That means they had a constitution was made by a Constituent Assembly. That was what was mentioned. Now what is the point? You are doing it in 2019. In 2019, how will you have Constituent Assembly? You will not have Constituent Assembly. That's why there is an article called as Article 367, of course 366 also, which is called as reinterpretation of the terms mentioned in the constitution. So you can reinterpret terms mentioned in constitution. Means you may have some word mentioned in constitution, but you would have mentioned it at that time. Now obviously meanings would have changed. So that's why what is the power? It gives you a power to reinterpret the words. Reinterpret means, you understand, right? This word means not so and so, it means today so and so. You can reinterpret. That means x is not equal to x, x is equal to y. You can reinterpret it. That power was given. Now how did they reinterpret it? Hence they reinterpreted that because there is no Constituent Assembly, they said Constituent Assembly of Jammu Kashmir, we will reinterpret it as State Assembly of Jammu and Kashmir. They reinterpreted it. Now in 2019, already they had already dissolved it. Emergency was put in 2017-18 itself. I think 18 itself, 1 year before itself. That means what you don't have? There is no legislature, there is no assembly there. It is ruled by a governor. Hence they said, because there is no assembly, we will reinterpret it as governor of J&K. That means that simple point, President can abrogate it on the recommendation of whom? Governor of Jammu Kashmir. Governor who will appoint? Center will appoint. That means what then? That's it. They said, we will ask the governor. Obviously, governor will tell what? Can he say no? Even if he says no, president can remove the governor any time. How will president act? Based on the recommendation of Council of Ministers, means PM. That means what typically? Whatever PM wants, that will happen. Hence, governor's recommendation was taken, abrogation. It was done through an order called as Constitutional Order. Constitutional Order, Application to Jammu Kashmir. (2019). So first they did this. So what is the impact of this? Entire Indian Constitution extended to JK. Means this provision, that provision, nothing. Entire one. Entire Indian Constitution extended to JK. Automatically then what will happen? Whatever you have got special status, what will happen to them? 370 abrogated, gone. Now this is what is questioned in Supreme Court, saying, can you yes, 367 provides you an option for reinterpretation. Does it mean you reinterpret any which way the way you want to? Is the question in Supreme Court, because a lot of people are arguing saying you should have amended the constitution by the parliament. But this is not an amendment, look at it. It's an order given by whom? President. How will the president give the order? Council of Ministers. Where is the parliament involved? Hence the controversy, hence the legal question which is pending in Supreme Court. Supreme Court has not looked into it right from 2019 till now. So whenever the issue comes up, we have to see what will happen. Until then, it stays. Then after this, what happened? Because entire Indian Constitution applies now. Because originally what had happened, under Article 3, remember you have Parliament, whatever Parliament wants, they can do it. Let's say directly, if when 370 is there, you cannot divide Jammu Kashmir. Reason, Article 370 and the Jammu Kashmir Constitution says, you cannot make any changes in the borders of Jammu Kashmir, boundaries of Jammu Kashmir, without the permission of Jammu Kashmir Assembly. This is what is said where? 370 special status mein. Now what happened to 370? 370 is gone. That means then comes your this you cannot bring the bill before, because if you try to bring this, you are violating constitution, because you have to ask whom first. Not like how you do it for Andhra Pradesh, just ask there, you do whatever you want, not like that. They should agree, then you make any changes. Now the provision itself is gone. Now what you do? That's what JK first UT, then So this is the entire procedure. It is completely designed like that. Now this is what is questioned in Supreme Court, the entire thing. What will they say? And that we have to wait. So that's left to them to take the call, because they are the ultimate interpreters. Got an idea? President. According to the 671, President can reinterpret the terms of the Constitution. But President can't do it on his own. Advice of COM. In simple words, Prime Minister. So that is how it happens.
Sir, why are they not repealing Article 370 now?
If you want to repeal it, you have to amend the Constitution. Constitution 368, special majority. Anything you can do, that's obvious. You can do anything, obviously. But the point is, that's what, because of so many issues. See, you had 371 also you have, Schedule 5 also you have, Schedule 6 also you have. Jammu Kashmir is not the only area which has special provision. We have already written asymmetric federalism, so many. 371 F is what? It's asymmetric only. It's not only Jammu Kashmir. Because Jammu Kashmir has a lot of Pakistan angle associated and the border problem and the terrorism problem, it is completely a different issue.
So we have an MP from, like many MPs from Jammu and Kashmir, so there is no effect on those constitutions.
Now they have reorganized it. That's why after this what they did, they said we will create that problem, topic is not yet done. They have created a delimitation commission. Jammu Kashmir now will have, earlier it used to have two houses, Assembly, Council. As of now it will only have Assembly. Which one? This one. Only Assembly. Legislative, of course MPs will always be there, Lok Sabha MPs. Ladakh will only have one, I think, Lok Sabha MP. One, I think, yeah, one Lok Sabha MP. I'm not sure, I think one only. Numbers I'm not sure, but they have Lok Sabha MP. That means what they don't have? There is no legislative assembly. Sir, how emergency happened in 2018? The emergency in the sense, this is not this is President's rule, state emergency. Don't confuse with national emergency. It's an state rules, President's rule, state emergency. That is a story. BJP had formed the government with Mufti Muhammad, that party. Now what they did? They took back the support and said, we'll impose, when you took back the support, no government. Put it under President's rule. Wait for 1 year. Bring President's order. Wait, bring Jammu Kashmir reorganization bill. Done. Divided. Now, sir, why are they doing all these things? Because it's an UT now. If you are a UT, you are complete control. Government of India's control. That means completely everything is under Government of India's control. That's the overall thing. Sir, is it good or bad? That's subjective. That you have to take the call. But this is the procedure I am telling, factually. Fine. That the Supreme Court will tell. Is it constitutional or unconstitutional? We and you are nobody to tell. Constitutionally, Supreme Court has to tell. Leave it to them. Got an idea? Yeah, fine. So this is the Union and its territories chapter, which is the bigger one. Now put the heading, which is a UPSC mains question angle. Creation of small states. I have already told you the reasons. We'll write the points. That's it. Creation of small states. Fine. Did you note down these points? Yeah, if you want to understand the process, not just note down. Nobody will ask you, but to understand conceptual clarity. Creation of small states. Under that, put the subheading, arguments for. That means why should we create? Arguments for small states. Yes, sir, we need small states. These are the arguments. Arguments for. So write the arguments. First one. Why do you need small states? Logically you think. Why do you need? First one. Better administration in case of small areas. Better administration in case of small areas or small states. Better administration in case of small states. Then next one, Policies can be made. Policies can be made considering. Policies can be made considering the local needs and demands. Because you can focus better. Policies can be made considering the local needs and demands. Considering the local needs and demands. That is 2. 3. In Constituent Assembly, Ambedkar had argued, Ambedkar had said that, in Constituent Assembly, Ambedkar had said that a country like India needs, Ambedkar had said that a country like India needs around 55, like US, that means he had US in mind. Country like India needs around 50 states. Country like India needs around 50 states. Fine. Then, linguistic reorganization in South and West. Linguistic reorganization in the South and West has helped in its complete integration with India. Linguistic reorganization in South and West has helped in its complete integration. That means after you created language-based states, there is no concept of secession in the South and West. Nobody is asking that we need the demand itself is not there. Has helped them in its so that means same concept will happen in other areas also, is the arguments for complete integration with India. Then recognition of the genuine public demand, like Telangana one. Recognition of the genuine public demand. Recognition of genuine public demand will enhance or will improve. Recognition of genuine public demand will enhance India's unity and integrity. Will enhance India's unity and integrity. For example, Telangana movement. Because Telangana movement was from 1940s itself, right from independence. Example, the Telangana movement. Fine. These are all obviously why we need more states, better administration, development, problems, this, that. You can also address, next one you can write. It can also address the problem of regional imbalances. It can also address, that I have already explained you. Within a state you have part better developed, that one. It can also address the problem of regional imbalances within the states. For example, Vidarbha. It can also address the problem of regional imbalances within the states. Example, Vidarbha. Remember, I have already told you Vidarbha, Marathwada, they are all called as what? Farmer suicides capital of the country. So, example, the Vidarbha issue. So, these are all, yes, you need small states. But as I said, it's not so easy. Challenges. Challenges in creating new states or small states. Challenges in creating small states. This was a UPSC question and a very, very famous question actually. Challenges in creating new states. First one, as I said, what is the challenge? It will create a domino effect. Domino means if you solve one or if you agree to one's demand, another will start. Chain. Snowballing also they call it a snowball effect. It will start a domino effect. D-I-M-I-N-O, domino effect. It will start a domino effect. Fine. Which may affect sovereignty and integrity. India's sovereignty and integrity. Which may affect India's sovereignty and integrity. Which may affect India's sovereignty and integrity. Fine. 2. Second, as I said, what is the problem? Financial angle. financial resources. Financial resources is a huge problem for small states which lack financial problem or financial resources, money in simple words, GDP, is a huge problem for small states which lack, obviously what do they lack? Which lack capital cities, infrastructure, natural resources, etc. Which lack capital cities, infrastructure means roads, bridges, dams, whatever you call it as, infrastructure, natural resources, it may be rivers, it may be, I don't know, coal, whatever, environment, whatever you call it as, which may lack capital city, infrastructure and natural resources, etc. Example, problem faced by Andhra Pradesh in creating a new capital. Example, problem faced by Andhra Pradesh in creating new capital. Problem faced by Andhra Pradesh in creating new capital. Fine, that is another one. Then it may increase interstate water and border disputes. Because more states, more problem. It may increase interstate water and border disputes. Interstate water and border dispute. Example, Krishna river or Krishna water should be subdivided between Telangana and Andhra Pradesh now. Example, Krishna river water should be subdivided between Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. Now obviously Telangana will, that's obvious, every state will ask more water, the problem will keep continuing. It should be subdivided between Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. Then creating small state may not necessarily lead to, creating a small state may not necessarily lead to better development. That means just because you create a small state, there is no guarantee that you will have development or you will solve all the problems. Creating a small state may not necessarily lead to better development. May not necessarily lead to better development. For example, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand still face the problem of Naxalism. Example, Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand. Is the water leaking? Matlab? Huh? Then someone may have the remote, please. What is it telling? Example, Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand still face the problem of Naxalism, and what are they? They are still, that means those states, they are still ranked low in state HDI index. Means if you rank the states, HDI means what? Human Development Index. State-wise if you rank it, Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand, of course, they are still in the same, more or less almost like the last 5, 6 there. They are still ranked low in the state HDI index. I mean, you can counter it also saying, sir, it's just 20 years, sir, you still more time. You can also counter it saying, sir, it's already been 20 years, sir, what did they do? So it's like the view, it will always be there. And then next another one, small state, okay, problem we have written. Coordination between the states. Coordination between the states to tackle problems like coordination between the states to tackle problems related to global warming, climate change, COVID, because every state will have their own concern. Coordination between the states to tackle problems related to global warming, climate change or COVID kind of events or COVID will be a huge problem. Will be a huge problem. Fine. So like that, a few other points you will get if you search, but broadly you got an idea. So then what should we do then? Way forward. Way forward. First one. we need second States Reorganization Commission, because first States Reorganization Commission was which year? 1953. Report is 1956. 1953, this is 2023. How many years? 70 years. We need second States Reorganization Commission to address the challenges of 21st century. That was to address which year? Which century? 20th. Now we are in 21st. We need second States Reorganization Commission to address the problems of 21st century. Because now, at that time, language was a major issue. Now there is no major language based demand. It's all it's a combination, mostly development problem today. Fine, to address the problems of the 21st century. 2. Promote decentralization. Promote decentralization. Promote decentralization by empowering local bodies, means panchayats and municipalities. Promote decentralization by empowering local bodies, to address problems of development and regional imbalance. That means if you address this problem, automatically then the problems of new states will not come up. Empower the local bodies to address the issues of development and what did you tell? Regional imbalance. Then 3. Only genuine public demand. Only genuine public demand which is long term, means not like 1 year you had a movement, agreed to them, not like that. Only genuine public demand which is long term has to be accepted, like the Telangana one has to be accepted. Genuine public demand which is a long term one has to be accepted. Fine? Yeah, this is more or less the points related to reorganization of states, union and territories, part 1 of the constitution. Fine, go through it. If you have any doubts, please ask. That's what I just clarified, Suman. It is first point, it is not national emergency, it was state emergency, that is president's rule, because no party was able to form the government. That you will understand better when we discuss emergency. Clear? Any clarification needed? Then we will directly go to the most important chapter of polity, citizenship. I will do it later because it's a very small one. What is the most important chapter? The heading fundamental rights. No, I understand. So just put the, even I have done it already for 4.5 hours I have done in the morning. When I am very, very tired, just put the heading, that's it. Don't worry. Fundamental rights. So this what we did is part 1, chapter 1. Chapter 2 is citizenship, article 5 to article 11. That we'll do it later because it's a small chapter and only you don't have questions from there. Conceptually I'll take care, we'll do it at the end. Part fundamental rights, part 3. Part 3. Fundamental rights, part 3, article 12 to article 35. As I said, part 2 is article 5 to 11, this is 12 to 35. Fine? Yeah, so broadly what do you mean by right? Just a brief, what is right? Because there are so many other types of rights we need to discuss. What do you mean by right in general? Everybody keeps telling like, this is my right, this is my, what is right? That, translation only. So by the moment you say right, it is something which is universal, something which is inherent, something which is a claim against the state. It's an entitlement. It's entitlement for you. It's a claim against the state. In other words, simple, it is inherent in you by the time you are born as a human being. So many other types are there, we'll discuss. In general, state cannot, governments in simple words cannot take it away from you. That's why we keep calling it as right, because when you say it as a right, that means what? Someone is affecting it. That's why you're telling, don't take it away from me. That's why you keep telling, ye mera hak hai. Means, don't take it away from me. It's part of it. How did it evolve? Of course, it's a long history is there. You can trace it right back to, I think, Aristotle or everybody. That's all not necessary for us in polity. In the recent times, you have so many things called as natural rights. That's something which emerges from nature. How was it defined? What did Voltaire's, mostly broadly there are three types of natural rights. Then in modern times, that is after UN emerged, there is the concept called as human rights evolved. Natural rights progressed and became more broader concept called as human rights. Within that there are 5 generations of rights. Then a concept called as fundamental rights, constitutional rights, legal rights. So like the 5 types of rights are there. How did that evolve? What are the different types? And then what is this Article 12 to what is the nature of rights? All those things we'll discuss. A very, very important chapter. In fact, the most important chapter of polity is this. Parliament is the biggest one, of course, that is also more important. From question wise, conceptually, this is the most important. Fine. We'll start afresh, from tomorrow.